And we are live here from 21 Studios in Orlando, Florida. I'm Anthony Johnson, founder of the 21 Convention and 21 Studios. Here today live with Socrates, alumni speaker and professional architect. Spoken many times at the convention. Also live with us today is Carl from Black Label Logic, Donovan Sharp from The Sharp Reality, Ryan Stone from Married Red Pill, and of course, Rollo Tomasi from The Rational Male. Gentlemen, thanks for joining on.
Thank you.
Yeah, thanks for having us.
Hell yeah. Rollo, looks like you're driving across the country.
I'm driving today. I'm just kind of along for as long as I can join the conversation today. I just entered Alabama, so I have been doing some live streams from the road, doing some periscopes from the road. But I am driving about half of my gear from my my home in Reno all the way down to Florida, and then I will be seeing you probably on Monday. So that's what I'm doing this week.
Listen, notice how his accent is just a little more southern now that he's in Alabama.
As soon as you get into like Louisiana, Mississippi, and Alabama, things change.
There you go.
It changes a man.
Got that twang on it. Alabama.
Cornbread and fat biscuits and whatnot.
What's that?
I said cornbread and fat biscuits and whatnot.
Hell yeah, man. Nothing like Southern cook. Nothing like soul food.
Ryan, what's going up on in Kazakhstan?
Well, a couple things. First, I'm really glad to hear that Rollo and I both have our redneck cards. I've ridden a pig in my life, and he's wrestled a gator, so that's cool.
Yes, I have.
On the Married Red Pill, we just finished. We're on the next phase of our 60 Days of Dread. This one's about career. A lot of the regulars and head guys are posting their career lessons on basically how to advance depending on your goals. It's some really good shit, and I have mine, but I'm a little bit late because my career stuff here just kind of got over with now. Not really much to brag about there. It's just, a lot more money and a lot better responsibilities, and all you really have to do is just adopt that same red pill awareness. So that's kind of neat. I plan on finishing off a post on the subject, and then I got to get writing for the convention. I guess I'm coming down there, and I got to think of a good topic so that people get their money's worth out of the hour that they get to watch me run my mouth.
I'm looking forward to it. Donovan, Carl, what do you guys got going on? How you doing?
I'm doing good. I actually I can add yet another platform to my illustrious list. I have now been kicked off of another platform. Vimeo has kicked me off. I was doing, and the interesting thing is that I was just putting my introductory videos. Hey, this is Donovan Sharp. Today I'm going to talk about X, Y, and Z. Well, it took all of 4 videos for them to finally flag down my content. So of course I futilely appealed it. I knew I didn't think they would ever get back with me, but poetically, while I'm on air, I got an email that said, hey, we appreciate blah 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 blah, but we do not allow pickup videos, and we don't allow you to talk shit about women and blah blah. It was just a bunch of bullshit. So what I ended up having to do is I had to bite the bullet, man. I had to lay out a lot of cash to get onto a streaming platform and it's not even a streaming platform. It's actually a streaming service. So not only can I can't make my content available to the public. The only place I can make my content available is my website, which is donovansharp.com. So now I can stream live to donovansharp.com, and guess what? I don't have to worry about anybody reporting me to anybody, or the spam software, or bullshit terms of service. They're moving the goalpost all the time. Again, I knew eventually it would come to this. I certainly didn't expect it to happen this soon, but now at least I'm in control of my content. And I tell people this now all the time: when you put your content on another platform, you don't own your audience; they do. And so listen, now I own my audience. So yeah, big things happening. Just like I said, just donovansharp.com is where everybody can get everything, and the train's still on the tracks.
Donovan Sharp train don't stop, no brakes.
No sir.
Carl, how you doing, man?
Oh, I'm doing good. I put out a couple of essays since last time, one on an exciting topic of research methodology and how to correctly evaluate and apply the results of scientific research to your life. It's a riveting read, very interesting, not dry at all. And then I followed that up with, I think is my best title of an essay yet, of Penis Pills and Psychopaths, that was just out yesterday.
Sounds good.
And the topic of that essay is more or less what cults and cluster Bs do to take control of your life. How do they get you into their frame? How do they maintain the frame? And how do they construct a solid self-reinforcing frame so that no matter what people try to do to break you out of it, you interpret that as, well, this psychopath told me exactly what was going to happen.
Yeah.
So that was kind of a preparation essay for, it was a capstone I didn't put out when I was writing my cluster B essays earlier, because it's one of those essays where you're writing things and, if the wrong people read this, they can do some real damage with the knowledge in it. But then I figured, with everything men are doing because of their bad positions in the sexual marketplace, what's one essay going to do against, the truck of peace and shootings everywhere? I mean, we cover an incel shooting every week, and we have a royal wedding now where a Marine pilot is marrying an over-the-hill woman who may or may not have a sex tape coming out in the near future worth millions. So we'll see what happens.
Well, she's not only passed one wall, she's passed both a 30 and 35 wall, or half wall. So she's way over the fucking hill.
Yeah, she's
well, I was actually thinking about this, and Anthony, you would actually be a better spouse for Harry because, yes, you've been over more questionable women. B, you also fucked a porn star, but at least we're fairly sure that you don't have a sex tape that's going to show up suddenly.
Dude, I have a bunch.
Yeah, but no one's going to leak those.
So this is why his middle name is Dream. That's his porn star name, Anthony Dream Johnson.
I actually met a girl the other night, and she heard this is like a nickname of mine. She's like, "Yeah, I can see why." Just like deadpan right at me. I'm like, "Oh shit!" Yeah, it was just fucking.
Oh my god!
Like, damn.
See, I always did it for security purposes. It's really hard to fight, lack of consent when you can actually put up a video.
Oh yeah.
Just like, does that performance look like it's not consensual?
Enthusiastic.
Yeah. Record. Listen. On that note, record everything, gentlemen. Record all sexual encounters.
Well, I was just thinking getting into live streaming. I mean, I already have the equipment.
There you go. Why not? Why not? Oh, look at this. Oh shit! It's the Dream.
Monetize it. Just monetize it.
Right.
Well, I actually checked the legality of it just out of curiosity before I mounted the cameras in my bedroom. And what I figured out is you can do about 6 months and a fine for illegally filming someone without their consent. And then if you broadcast it, that's another penalty, but that's mostly an FCC penalty. So that's just a fine and a slap on the wrist. Just make sure you don't curse in the video. Then they really
don't want to get banned, nothing like that from it.
Right. You promiscuous woman. Yeah, that's it.
No, you just put it on mute.
Oh my god!
Said it.
Let them wonder
the paywall.
What was said.
Let them know. I was always amazed when digital cameras came out that if you pulled a camera out, you would think women wouldn't act up the way they typically would.
Opposite.
And it's absolutely fucking opposite. So I've got to believe that if you set up a webcam service in your room and women knew exactly who you were, they wouldn't be hitting that hard. Yeah, full consent and knowledge. Here's my driver's license.
I'll have to give it some consideration.
Like they used to do on those Girl Gone Wild videos. I remember when the first few came out. But listen, the first few came out, and dude, the guy was just walking around taping girls licking each other's pussies and asses. Then, I guess he got sued. Something happened. But then what happened was, okay, what's your name? My name is Marie. Anna, whatever her last name was. Okay, do you consent to sucking this dude's dick on camera? Yes, I consent. All right, let's do it. Like, he has to get that consent on camera. It's fucking hilarious.
Yep. Hey guys, they actually rolled through Orlando a couple of years back.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, they're going through a couple of the clubs,
Did not know.
Yeah.
I didn't know they're still around.
Roundtable, guys, before we get into other issues, I want to announce, we announced yesterday that tickets went on sale, early bird tickets to the 21 Convention 2018 of Orlando, Florida, our main event, only event of the year, being held in Central Florida this October. Anybody who does not have a ticket yet can get tickets at the21convention.org. And they're on sale, $800 off till May 31st. You can meet myself there, Socrates, Rollo Tomasi, Ryan Stone, Donovan Sharp, and we're looking to kidnap Carl as well and drag him to the event. Work in progress at this time, though.
Yeah, I've rented the black nondescript van, so I've got that covered.
He's actually in the back of Rollo's van right now, is where we have him live streaming from.
Oh, shit. That's why he turned his camera off. Okay, I got you. I got you.
But we have a whole bunch of speakers, guys. We have 18 out of 21 confirmed so far. Guys like Jack Murphy, Jack Donovan, a lot of Jacks, Richard Cooper from Entrepreneurs in Cars, Ed Lattimore, AJ Cortez, and on down the line. We have a huge speaking lineup this year, and it's getting even better. Every week we add in new guys. We just added Ryan Stone, for example, just confirmed as an alumni the other day.
And
Pat Campbell as well.
It's getting bigger.
Yeah.
The lineup is just fantastic this year.
Yeah, it's pretty fucking awesome. Looking forward to it. Looking forward to it on a personal level and professional level, every level. Yep. And I'm looking forward to hanging out with you guys again. It's going to be fucking badass.
I'm taking a week off from work.
Yeah, good.
Yeah.
We're going to wreck your house and party again.
Yeah, that's it. That's it.
Yes, party at Socrates' place. Yeah, there we go.
No, we did. No, legitimate.
Yeah.
That's legitimate. Yeah, we've done it a couple.
The after party is at 21 Studios.
Yeah, that's a whole nother.
This is a private. This is a VIP one. VIP only.
Behind the velvet rope there, right?
Oh yeah.
There we go.
So let's move on to some social issues, guys. So there's yet another incel shooting, or not necessarily incel, but another terminal beta basically went AWOL. I don't even know what to say at this point, given that we've talked about it so many times, and it's the same phenomena happening again, the same fundamentals, as far as I can tell. Does anyone?
That's what I was going to ask, because I haven't followed anything of it. As soon I saw the news story, and that's it. I never even read it. Yep. So if I take some guesses here, you guys let me know how close I am.
What I thought was interesting about it was the fact that they actually leveraged it into a hit piece on Jordan Peterson about him saying monogamy should be enforced to get rid of these situations, because if these guys think they can get laid, even with one or two, maybe they'll be less likely to. Well, if they can shoot on her face, maybe they're less likely to shoot on other people's faces.
So that's why the fucking beta males are pissed off at Jordan Peterson now because of that. So that's the new shit. I was wondering why everybody was mad at him now. Like, fuck, for a timid Torontonian professor, he sure gets a lot of fucking flack. Jeez.
Yep. Yeah, well, the different with this one is that he looks like he might have some Antifa affiliation or something like that. But
I haven't even followed it.
Are we talking about the one down in Santa Fe, Texas, right?
The Texas one.
Yeah.
Last I saw.
Yeah, the Texas one. Yeah.
I hate to say it, my reaction was dog bites man. Underfathered child. Alienated in society, alienated with women. Takes a gun and does violence.
Well, he actually had Molotovs too and IEDs, I think.
Yeah, I heard.
Yeah, he really went all out.
If you're in Texas, you got to do it bigger, I guess. Jesus.
Yeah.
I haven't heard about pipe bombs since the 90s in school shootings.
Yep.
Yeah, the Columbine boys, Eric Harrison did a good
job on that. They actually made pipe bombs and had several and utilized them. Yeah, those guys a little more serious and dedicated to it.
Yeah.
Fuck, now I'm starting to worry. Rollo rented a van. He's driving over to the East Coast here. Do I need to watch outside my window or? The way that you have a fight, now you're on your way over.
Now, Suckers, you said he said he was underfathered. Is that what you said?
Yeah, that's what's
awesome. Okay, yeah, that's what I thought.
I would have no doubt that there's no father figure in his life. I don't think he has any social support, any male culture in this kid's life, and to think that you're going to have somebody that's supposedly nurtured by a mother appropriately, that doesn't get cultivated by a father, is going to turn out normal and appropriate and a worthwhile citizen. It just doesn't happen.
I agree. I think, and he did have a father. He was obviously not a very good father, because boys with, you think about it like this, right? I wrote an article on Return of Kings, dude, years ago, called and we'll circle back to this, but I want you guys to follow where I'm going here. It was called How Professional Athletes Show Us the Importance of Fathers. And what I did is I highlighted 6 professional athletes. 3 professional athletes were extraordinarily talented, probably some of the greatest athletes of our time. Alex Rodriguez, Terrell Owens, Mike Tyson, right? Together, those guys, I think, made almost $1 billion just in salary alone. But they all had, like Mike Tyson, his life was a tragedy before he even entered into the ring, of course, because he didn't have a father. His dad left him, I think, right after he was born. Tio was raised by his grandmother down in Alabama, where Rollo Tomasi is at right now. And then, of course, Alex Rodriguez, his father left at 9 years old, told him he was going to the store and never came back. Well, these guys were terminal betas. And then I highlighted another 3 athletes, Derek Jeter, Michael Jordan, and Tom Brady. These guys are world-renowned, global fame. Their reputations precede them. But what they all have in common is that they had strong fathers. So you can have a father in the home, but just because you have a father physically in the home doesn't necessarily mean that that's going to be a strong father.
Yeah,
listen, right. As far as I'm concerned, having a weak father in the home is literally just exactly like having a single mother in the home. Nicholas Cruz, the South Florida shooter, raised by single mother. This guy obviously had a very weak father who had guns. And what dude, I say it every single time this happens. What all of these people have in common, all these shootings have in common, is that they're not good with women. They don't even have to be good with women. They just have to get a little bit of pussy. And I know it sounds simple, but I'm telling you, we can talk shit about females all we want to. You can't really get that kind of interaction anywhere else. And if a man really feels like he can't get that female sexual interaction from females, guess what? If he's got some sort of mental illness, it's the perfect storm. This happens every time. This is what they all have in common.
I will add a little nuance though, just not that he does get them, but just that the game is fair.
There you go.
When it seems he has like no chance, that's when the desperation sets in, because we'll chase that carrot on a stick as long as we know we have a chance at it.
Right. Yeah.
Which I think
when they figure
that's what Jordan was getting at, and then they shit on him for it, thinking that you're getting like issued like pussy cards or something like that. Or
oh my god.
No,
I saw Rollo tweeted too.
I was gonna say I tweeted about it, but last night when I got into the hotel that I was at last night, I flipped on the TV, and of course they've got, even on Fox News, they've got some female commentator talking to some female host, once again trying to diagnose these kids' problems, and they all come back to the same bullshit diagnosis, which is these kids need more love, and they need to be able to express themselves more, and they need to, they have such anger issues that they need to, express their feelings, and they don't feel like they can talk to anybody, and it's all this really feminized ideas of what boys are going through right now. And of course, the solution to that for that mindset is that, to add more of the, putting more fuel on the fire really for these guys, because you're talking about a generation of kids who are the participation trophy generation. These are the kids who've never had to worry about that kind of stuff.
Yeah, and in the same breath, they'll come out right after saying that, and they'll say that all men are toxic, violent, crazy, demonic assholes. So it's like this constant messaging that's just hitting these kids, and everyone are, young men.
Well, I think I was going to go back a little bit to what Donovan said, because his interest is professional athletics, and my personal interests happens to be crazy motherfuckers and all their shapes, colors, and sizes. And one of the more interesting observations that I saw from, I'm not sure if it was Joe Navarro or Robert Ressler, but when you look and you analyze a crime that a serial killer has committed, there are actually a lot of telltales for sexual dissatisfaction. For instance, stabbing someone is the equivalent of demonstrating impotence. The reason why I drew that in here is these are boys who have no way of winning the game. They have no way of participating in it. They've tried and they're unable to. So what they do is they change the rules, and then they use the only means they have available to them. In this case, he stole his father's weapons. And if we could give them some kind of way to at least feel that they have a chance at the game, maybe they would keep playing, but instead they just take the Monopoly board, flip it upside down, go, fuck you guys, I'm taking my ball and I'm going home.
It's interesting you bring that up, because one of the things apparently the shooter said was, you will pay. He had some sort of message for his classmates about that. It's like a game that he lost is really what, like you're saying.
Well, what he's saying is that you've all been lying. Well, what I think he's saying, I don't like speculating on motive, but what I think he's saying is he's been told that the game functions according to a set of rules. And then he observes that everyone who's successful do not play by these rules. And those who are unsuccessful play by the rules. And then when the people who are unsuccessful try to play by the other set of rules, they are kind of shamed and demonized back into playing the rules. So you have a catch-22 where either you're going to be socially ostracized for stepping out of your lane. I think Rollo referred to it as sexual zoning. Or you're going to basically say, I'm not going to play this fucking game. You guys will pay for lying to me. I'm done.
There you go.
Yeah, flip the board over like Monopoly.
And listen, surprise, surprise. He shot his ex-girlfriend. It says that at least 10 people are dead after school shooting in Santa Fe. The suspect's ex-girlfriend was among the people shot. a day ago. So again, listen, man, it's so funny. People outside of this community, they always want to point to everything. They want to point, and listen, I'm not saying that there aren't good points as to why these school shootings happen, but I'm telling you, there are two major factors as far as I'm concerned. Number one, we're marginalizing boys and men from birth. These are boys that are marginalized. We're told that we're inherently flawed. And I mean, we could do a whole nother show on that. The second thing is it is the women. This girl hurt me, or that girl hurt me, or I'm not good with women. That, I'm telling you, you fix those two problems, you drastically cut down on these school shootings. I don't care how depressed a kid is.
All right. I also wanted to sort of chime in here real quick. Sorry, I'm actually fueling up right now. But I wanted to just say that, you know, I see there's a lot of controversy over Jordan Peterson talking about how monogamy would have saved this kid. And I will tell you right now, the red pill would have saved this kid. Learning, you know, intersexual dynamics, having a father that was, you know, there to teach the kid, learning more about conventional masculinity, you know, bringing these kids back into really an understanding of conventional masculinity, and, you know, taking them out of an upbringing and an educational system that is treating them as if they are defective girls. And that's really what I was seeing last night on that show it was on Fox News. You know, here we have two women trying to diagnose this kid, and they have no idea what they're talking about. And so to suggest that, oh, well, if we had just like had some sort of mandatory monogamy for you know, for everyone, like as if we're going to force everybody to get into you know, an ideology or make decisions based on, you know, what Jordan Peterson wants. I think it's kind of naive. I think really it needs to be, you know, we need to have an education system that really picks up and teaches boys as if they're boys, and teaches them about, you know, how to come back from defeat, how to come back from rejection, how to build themselves up and make themselves better as a result of that, rather than having these emotional outbursts with an AK-47. So
teach them not to rape, that'll fix it.
Yeah.
Huh.
Yeah, I always find it too. I'm sure they'll try to have mental health stuff, you know, soon enough, or like lack of it in schools. But any of that they bring in, like in Florida now, it's all going to be like feminine based. It's going to be what Rollo was just talking about, like all this open, you know, play with your emotions and all this stuff. None of the stuff that your father would have taught you 40 years ago or 50 years ago. Like, be a hard ass, like come back from a defeat, you know, come back strong. The things that, you know, Ryan talks about, the married stuff.
You know, the interesting thing is,
go.
I was going to say, the interesting thing is about experience, being battle tested, being battle worn. That is, not only is that a good utility for a man to have, that's what makes a man attractive. If you're a man who's seen some shit, who's been around the block, who's fought some battles, who's kicked a lot of ass, gotten his ass kicked, that's attractive, man. Like that, to me, that sharpens you, that forges you into a man that is self-sufficient, a man who's not going to go and, you know, shoot up, you know, any place for whatever reason. But just like Anthony said, we don't teach these things to our boys anymore. We teach them to, you know, connect with your feminine side and, you know, talk about your feelings and this and that and the other. Obviously, that's not working. It makes no sense to me that
it's not working. It's making the problem worse, and they're doubling.
That's what, and nobody wants to acknowledge it. Like, dude, listen, there's probably a school shooting that's going to happen this Monday, and we're going to blame it on the same shit. And oh, by the way, the fact that this guy shot his ex-girlfriend was a footnote in the article that I just pulled up. So they don't want to really acknowledge or give credence to the truth about what's really going on. They want to blame it. Yes, mental health and this and that, those are all factors, but the bottom line is feminism is the reason, is the main reason for these things happening so quick. So
they mention mental health as if it's some magic box from a wizard that they give you, when essentially the mental health treatment is exactly what you're saying and what Rollo and Carl and Anthony are saying. Just harden them up, toughen them up, teach him how to be a normal functioning human being. Like, that's his mental health training. I don't know what people have in their heads when they picture, they don't need masculinity, they need mental health. Like, it's the same thing.
No, oh my God, I could not have said it any better myself. Dude, listen, don't give a kid fucking Ritalin. Give him a fucking wrench. man. Dude, honestly, give him a wrench. www.donovansharp.com, therationalmale.com, the Red Pill subreddit. You want some mental health? Little Timmy is, seems to be an energetic boy. Really? All right, let's put him out in the garage. Teach him how to fucking drive a tractor, work on a car. That dude, I'll clear that shit right up.
Dodge a ball.
That's what exactly. Men, because men don't shoot up a bunch of innocent fucking people over some pussy.
Shit like that.
Yeah.
Cool. Carl, did you have input a few minutes ago that you got cut off with that you wanted to put in?
Yeah, I had kind of an interesting parallel because if you look at the, let's say, the inner city communities and the, let's call them the Breaking Bad communities, a lot of what you're seeing there is very similar to this because you have a lot of people who have a drive and they have ambition and they want to improve their life. But the only way they can do that is through illegal means. So they cook meth or they cook crack, more or less. And they're putting all the classic masculine qualities, ambition, drive, determination, hard work ethic, and they're putting all this energy into creating something that's illegal. When imagine if you could take that energy and put it to productive use. And that's the same thing I'm seeing with all these young boys here. If you could just take their energy, I mean, if you can sit down like the Columbine boys did, and over 18 months plan out every single detail, get illegal weapons, make bombs, make sure no one finds out anything. Don't tell me that you can't handle a logistics job for Amazon.
Right. That makes perfect sense.
Well, let's move on to the royal wedding in less dark and dreary news. Well, it's still fucked up and horrible, but it's not as horrible as the shooting. The royal baiting.
No. Hold on, you're wrong.
Wedding of the century.
Yes, listen, this royal wedding is worse than the shooting. I'm just going to go ahead and put that hyperbole out there.
I don't know how you guys know anything about it. It's my queen, and I know fuck all.
Dude, I'm telling you, man, I don't give a shit about it. It's all over the fucking place. Like, I pick up my phone, it's somehow streaming on my phone. I was like, how the fuck did that happen? Yeah. It's everywhere. It's fucking everywhere.
Yeah, because Rollo and I were talking beforehand, and it reminds us, if you guys ever watched The Oatmeal, they had a video on Twilight, and bear with me here, where when they describe Bella in Twilight, it's like 10 pages, make her very plain so you can put yourself in her shoes. You describe Edward, and it's like thousands of pages, flowery language, a very vivid image in your head, and it seems like this is the middle-aged soccer mom version of that. Plain Jane, the chick who's done all the wrong things but still found her prince at the end.
Unfucking believable, dude.
Or if you
she's gotta be, I swear to God, man.
She might be.
And for how men picture how you watch porn and there's like just a dick in the center of the frame with no face on the guy, so you can pretend that's your dick. That's the female equivalent of the random dick in porn.
I swear to God, man.
It'd be like watching videos of Blacked or whatever. I think that's the genre of like, yeah. Isn't that the one where it's specifically with black dudes, or?
It's called what?
Blacked.
Black? Is that a? Are you talking about like, a TV show? Like,
no, like this genre. Like I'm talking like there's furries and blacked and normal.
Hey guys, let's pause for a second. So for the guys who are watching this who are not super familiar with the red pill, why is this royal beta wedding a fucking disaster and happening in slow motion? Like for the guys who are not tuned into what's really going on with it.
Yeah, she's 36. I'll just go ahead and start with that. Oh, I'm sorry. She'll be 37 in August.
Okay, so she's at advanced maternity age and she's divorced already. And used to date a porn star, if I'm not mistaken.
Oh, God. Just keep.
Oh, yeah.
Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me?
Christ. Oh, yeah. I'm pretty sure she used to date a porn star.
I had no idea with this chick, other than the physical features that I'm watching and I'm watching the wedding, realizing I wanted something like The Price is Right. Like, she's just won The Price is Right. You know, she's there. Dude. Going to get your show, your tour, everything else, and it's just like, in your life's going to be just a train wreck.
She won the
and
fucking
not just royalty, but fucking Captain Britain himself. Everybody remembers that one video of him where he's having an interview and then fucking battle calls and he's off at the chopper.
Well, his family, that this is the chick that he actually chooses to get away from them for.
Yeah,
I mean, this is the one that went around. Wore a brown shirt, Nazi uniform at one of the costume parties. Joins the service, goes overseas. Does all that. And you look at it and go, for that regard, he was my favorite royal. But you look at it and go, really, this is the chick you chose.
Yep. Super
I'm going to be the contrarian here, and I think the royal wedding is going to be fantastic for the red pill.
Oh, yeah.
no.
Oh,
Well,
Yeah,
okay.
yeah,
All right.
because when this Hindenburg of a wedding finally catches fire and it blows up in a glorious, fiery crash, everyone's going to be like, how did this happen? And they're going to go and they're going to search royal wedding. What happened with Meghan and Harry? And they're going to land on the rational male or the red pills where they're like, well, she's 37. She's been hit from more angles than, well, she's probably had more dicks in her than the urinal at Shea Stadium.
Well, listen, what's the over under? And I don't want this to go to Patreon or this to get taken down, but what's the over under on the notch counts here? Like, obviously, we know Meghan Markle has fucked far more guys than Prince Harry has fucked bitches. And that's a lot because Prince Harry's a fucking prince. But what's the over under on the notch count with this chick? She's a good looking American woman who's 36, almost 37 years old. I put her count to the triple digits, man. Straight up.
Well, I don't think she'll,
I'm not gonna lie. I think she's pushing. I think she's into triple digits, homie.
and then to be fair too, I don't.
It's the dick stacking test, to be honest.
Wait, say that again.
Oh, you haven't heard of the dick stacking test? It's a guy me and Ryan watch on YouTube called Terrence Pop. He has this thing with the dick stacking test, where if you take the number of dicks a woman has had, multiply that by 12 because the average dick is 6 inches long, so you get 12 inches per man. Stack them end to end upwards. You mount a platform at that height. If you would get injured if you fall off, that's too many dicks.
That's fucking brilliant. I love it. Oh my God, I love it.
And I do want to throw a caveat in here. Like, we're obviously, like, we're poking fun. We're having our little humor there. Like, we don't really wish her ill. We don't think, oh, she's just trash. It's like we're illustrating a point in typical man language. Like, it's not very.
Hey, you want to know something?
Is that the best he could do?
Listen,
Like,
obviously
power
it's
to
not
her.
the best. I was gonna say no, that's not the best he can do. But dude, let's call this for what it is. Meghan Markle wins. She wins, dude. She's an American girl. She's almost 37 years old. She's got notch count into the triple digits. She marries a fucking prince. Dude, if that is not hypergamy personified, I don't know what is. Like, listen, honestly, this is the highest value male that she could ever get with in a million lifetimes. And she happened to get him in this one. Dude, she has achieved, honestly, dude, she has achieved the feminine imperative. She has reached the pinnacle of hypergamy. So, dude, listen, you know, Meghan Markle won, Prince Harry none. Like, she wins. She wins.
Yeah, credit where credit's due. I'll give her that. Yeah.
Right, yeah. She wins. I'm not taking it away from her. Listen, if you're Meghan Markle, what are you going to say? No, I don't want to marry this guy because I don't deserve him. Of course you're going to fucking marry him. Of course you are. You kidding me? Get out of here.
I wonder how the visits with the Queen Mum are going to work out there.
Oh, Jesus Christ. Oh, my God.
Well,
you know, and it's funny. Women know women, right? So what does Queen Elizabeth? Like, what does Queen Elizabeth think of Meghan Markle, right? And we know that women, we're red pill guys. We all know about slut tells, but dude, women know slut tells too. Like, just because you're the Queen of England and you're this, you know, this aristocratic family doesn't mean that you don't know when a girl has had multiple dicks in her. So what kind of conversations is she having with Prince Harry? Like, you have
no idea how brutal it's going to get. I remember Prince Philip, her husband, he's old enough that they went to Africa for something, and he was talking to like the tribesmen there, and he asked them if they were spear chuckers, but he was so old he didn't know like the connotation of that. Like,
oh my God! Holy fucking shit! Are you serious?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. You got a bit of like, you can't fire him, so he didn't lose his job.
Per Ryan's comment, though, so yeah, of course we don't wish her like ill or anything for no particular reason, but facts don't care about feelings, and the facts of her life that are readily available to the public are a complete shit show. Like, she's damaged, she's fucked up her life, she's, you know, advanced maternity age, she's passed the 30 wall and 35 wall, she's had who knows how many dicks in her. We're playing a betting game at this point. And legitimately, Donovan might be right. It might be well into the triple digits for all we know.
Yeah,
she won, and she's a cautionary tale for everybody else who's watching.
Absolute dose dependent.
Yeah.
Absolutely. What now?
Dose dependent.
Yeah.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, marriage failure and dick correlation, it's completely dose dependent. And that's the reason why you focus in on that.
Yeah.
I totally agree. Yeah.
Once he gets divorced too, doesn't it? He like abdicate his he's no longer in the lineage there. Like, he's no longer in the running. I know he's only like number 5 now, but what was that fucking movie where the guy had the stutter? Did anybody remember that?
No. Who was in it?
Yeah.
The king.
Yeah, that's the one.
Yeah.
Supposedly, if he divorces or married, actually, I don't know. Whatever. That's royal lineage shit. We need some British guy on here to start explaining this stuff in a really beta, lispy voice.
Well, actually, anybody who comes on with a British voice, it doesn't matter what they say. We're going to believe what they say anyway. So whatever.
Yeah, quite pomp and circumstance. Tip,
it's all the pomp and circumstance. If he gets divorced, she's getting absolute jack shit. Queen Elizabeth will have absolutely none of that. He says she's a 30-cock whore. She doesn't belong in this family. All that stuff. And we'd be like, oh, totally. Yeah, totally agree because you have a convincing British
Well, he didn't even sign a prenup. Like, there's nothing like that for him, right?
Oh my God.
They fucked everything up.
I don't think he owns anything, though.
No,
I'm pretty sure the royal family is like its own entity, and he just like gets a paycheck. I don't think he has money to give.
I don't think he needs a prenup because if they do get a divorce and Markle tries to get some shit, that family's gonna be like, bitch, get the fuck out of here, you American fucking slut. Get the hell out of here.
She'll end up like his mother.
Ooh.
You don't think that was an inside job? You're telling me former English paratrooper in a car rushing down there, going down the
bridge,
and no one's looking, and he's in the one side, and he's the only one wearing a seatbelt, and it just takes that to turn the steering wheel into a column. You don't think?
You weren't here. I was joking online with Rollo on that, saying that she has some Queen assassination squad just ready for this.
I wouldn't listen, man. Like, I'm not the conspiracy theory guy, but listen, that doesn't sound too far-fetched because at the time she died or was killed, wasn't she fucking Dodi Al-Fayed at that point?
Yeah, yes.
Right? Like she was already fucking him, and he was in the car with her. He died too, right?
Mm-hmm. Completely.
Wow.
Yeah, and there's a lot of other things going on, surrounding all that. And then the reality is, I don't necessarily think somebody had to give the order. I just think the people in the position knew what to do.
Okay.
And it doesn't take a whole lot to be in a position, realize what's going on. He's seeing it face, first person right there, right in front of him. And, I'm not saying he did, but you sit down and say, if I was an investigator, I would have been looking at that and scouring that.
Absolutely.
Completely.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Really looking at it. And to this day, you sit down and go, it's just too clean and neat. Just too clean and neat.
And you want to know something?
Princess Diana had a larger separation from paparazzi. Nobody would have seen. You just sit down and say,
right under the bridge,
driving fast. The whole 9 yards. The whole 9 yards.
And you know what? Princess Diana, I think, was closer. I'm looking this up now. She was closer in, where was she from? Like, I think she was Welsh or something like that. So at least she was she was born in, Princess Diana of Wales. Meghan Markle's a commoner. Like, she's an outsider. She's an American. They'd have no problem with her out. Kidding me? Oh, she's an American girl? Ah, fuck it. Dude, we know what the world thinks about Americans. What, she's an American girl? She's dating a porn star? She's a movie star? Get rid of her. She's a dime a dozen. Fuck out of here.
Okay, well, to bring this back to, the 21 convention and out of the InfoWars territory for a second here.
Let's rein us all back in. Wild conspiracy theories about Queen assassination squads.
Well, I'm just saying, am I the only one? I mean, I looked at Meghan's relationship history, and I looked a bit at her relationship with her family and her family history. And am I the only person that have seen less red flags in a communist parade?
No, she's got them all. She's got them all, dude. There is no question about it. Any woman, check this out. Any woman over the age of, hell, let's just call Meghan Markle what she is. Any woman who looks like that, and let's not mistake, Meghan Markle's hot. Like, she's a good-looking woman. Any woman who is that hot at that age, dude, she's taking a lot of dick, man. Like, you're damaged goods. What in the world was that?
Tinfoil.
That was a tinfoil hat.
There it is. Hey, dude, black helicopters, man. Let's do it.
Yeah.
Let's do it. I'm all in.
It protects your brain from, whatever's going on. The frogs turning gay.
But I agree with Carlos. I think Meghan Markle has so many red flags, and it seems the only group of people who seems to be outwardly acknowledging them, I can't talk, is us. Like, we're the ones that say, does anybody have a problem with the fact that a prince has married a 36, almost 37-year-old who dated a porn star? Like, nobody's asking those questions. Oh, it's such a, it's so romantic and this and that and the other.
No, she's damaged goods top to bottom.
Yeah, but I think he knows exactly what he bought into. I think this is exactly what he wants. A chick who swallows, takes it in the ass, takes photos, onto it, and you're saying that's not what he wants? That's why he chose an American chick.
Well, he's also super blue. Like, this guy's he's super blue pill.
Yeah.
I think.
I just can't believe there's so
That's
much
right.
American media around it. You guys fought a war to get the fuck out, and now you can't stop but keep looking back.
Yeah.
You told Dad,
Yeah,
fuck you, and moved out.
they
Don't
get
be
us all,
coming
dude.
back and asking for money.
Yeah.
While I marry an American girl.
Yeah.
Where's Rollo
I
at?
think
Rollo's
there we go.
I think Rollo's
what
been
I think about
Rollo's been accosted by the he's been accosted by the Alabama rednecks out there. I actually
he's got
saw a
7
comment.
guys around him now going, he has a pretty mouth.
Yeah, well, he's got 7 guys. Listen, he's got 7 guys surrounding him. 3 of them are named Zed, and those 3 guys have 3 teeth, and 2 of them are in their pocket. So that's where he's at. That's where he's at. Just to go back real quick about the school shooting, real quickly. Anonymity. I'm not that smart here. 82 says bullying in school destroys these kids' psyche as the reputation towards women plummets after being humiliated by other men. I disagree. I think that, and I don't know, maybe a lot of people disagree with bullying. I think that bullies are necessary. Bullies in life are necessary. Have you noticed that ever since we've gone on the offensive with this anti-bullying stuff, the kids are becoming weaker and weaker? Like kids don't
about it.
Right. Kids don't know how to stand up to themselves. If somebody bullies you in school, you kick their ass or you get in a fight. Well, what if he kicks my ass, Dad? Guess what? He's not going to fuck with you again because he doesn't want to get hit in the face. We're dealing with an entire generation of kids who are taught to be passive aggressive, right? And what gets lost in translation with the word passive aggressive is it's almost like it's a compound word, but it's a 2-part system. First you're passive and then you're aggressive. So you're passive about the bully. Okay, I'm going to internalize it, and now I'm going to be aggressive. I'm going to shoot my ex-girlfriend, and I'm going to shoot the bullies, and the bullies maybe do it. No, bullies are necessary in life. I don't give a shit what anybody says, politically correct or not. I don't.
To kind of further your point, Donovan, I think what you're saying is that, or at least how I'm interpreting it, is that in a healthier environment, like say 50, 60 years ago for masculinity, bullying wasn't a serious problem because you had an environment set up where young boys would respond to it either neutrally or positively. They would grow from it if they won the fight or lost the fight, regardless. And that's gone now. Now boys are taught to be, they're defective girls, like Rollo talks about. They're just toxic pieces of shit, and everything in the world is their fault and wrong with them. And then you double it down with everything else. And it's just clusterfuck. Right.
We don't put pressure on our boys. We don't squeeze them. We don't temper them. We just don't test them like we used to. Like, dude, I remember when I played Little League Baseball, not everybody got a trophy. The winning team got a trophy. I think we talked about that earlier. All we got was a fucking ice cream sandwich, maybe some orange wedges, and we're told to have a good season, whatever the case may be. But now we're taught that everybody wins everything. So when real world strife hits them, when they encounter real world problems, they have no idea how to deal with it. Let me go get my dad's AK-47 and shoot up the fucking school. No, you go and beat the motherfucker's ass.
Even in the year 2000, I played my first year of contact football at Pop Warner, and we didn't win a single game. We literally went, 0-12 or something like that. And we got the trophy, and a couple of us were like, why the fuck did we get a trophy? We didn't win a single game. We still had fun, we're 12 years old or something, playing football, hitting each other, playing games, but we didn't win a single fucking game, and we got a trophy. And even at that age, we're like, why do we get a trophy? Like, what the fuck is the point of this? Or whatever we said at that age, It's confusing. Like, it's fucking up the kind of reward system. Like, why do we get a reward for not doing anything or accomplishing anything? We just
instant gratification.
Yeah, well, I was thinking too, because I was bullied when I was in high school, and I remember, and this is the point that I think we haven't caught on yet. Yeah, there's the standing up for yourself part, but here's the thing. At first, I remember I went to like the teacher and then the principal, and they all basically just like, don't rock the boat. We'll see what we can do. Nothing really changes. So you kind of get in that mindset, not just of standing up for yourself, but I mean, I got suspended too when I stood up for myself. So you kind of have to go against the authority, I guess.
Yeah.
In order to get it done too. So you have to be willing to say like, fuck you, like take control of your own, be your own judge, and not just by the rules and get fucked over.
You're learning how to navigate rules though, and admit, people with authority over you. And that's what you need.
Because I think anybody who's ever been in a fight where they didn't start it, they just defended themselves and get expelled. It happens all the time. They just don't like violence. So you gotta be you kind of gotta be okay with being the bad guy. Yeah.
Right.
And that they don't get that
also has a function. Because like if you look at how guys interact, there's always some degree of bullying in quotations going on. Like, I mean, I give Ryan shit about his shirt every show we do. But I mean, at least, well, at least this one's shirt isn't as bad as the one he had on last week. But
love that shirt.
But it's kind of a way you tell your tribe to, you know, step your game up. And kids don't have they're not exactly well calibrated. Like flirting when you're 13 is grabbing a girl's tits or punching her. So it's not exactly having behaviors dialed in. So sometimes it goes a bit too far. And you see that with hazings in colleges and the military as well. But the whole point is you bond through going through something together. And when someone falls behind and isn't kind of doing his end, you bully him to kind of give him the hint, hey, you're not pulling your weight, catch up.
Okay, so now that we've sort of stalled here, I want to answer Carlos's question about Meghan Markle here. He says she has a lot of red flags. I'm just going to read a short snippet here, and we're going to play Guess the Red Flags. Here we go. It says, quote, she then attended Northwestern University, right? No big deal. She went to college. Okay, all right, whatever. Where she joined Kappa Kappa Gamma sorority. Okay,
red flag.
That's red flag number 4.
Good girls join. None of the bad girls join. That's
of course not. Because and the reason they know they're good, the reason that we know they're good girls, because the guys who fuck them say good girl, right? That's how we know they're good girls. Then she served also served an internship at the American Embassy in Buenos Aires, Argentina. Ding, and then studied a semester in Madrid, Spain. This bitch joined a sorority. She spent a semester in Madrid, Spain, where guys are walking fucking hard-ons out there, and she served at an internship for God knows how long in Buenos Aires. So she's been in a sorority, and she's traveled to various destinations. Yep, like I said,
I think she probably hit the triple digits by that time. I think anything after that is just a bonus.
Dude, listen to this. Listen, here's the capper. Markle attended a private all-girls Catholic school. Oh my God. Jesus Christ. So
she has her brown wings.
That's what dude, that's it. And dude, as soon as she broke free of the shackles of Catholic school, dude, she went fucking cock wild, man. Straight up.
Like a rubber band effect.
Yep. Yes.
Yep.
She's like a relationship with her family too. Like I usually say that a red flag is if a woman doesn't have any contact and can't get along with her family, what makes you think she'll get along with yours? And number 2, if she doesn't have any woman or persons in her life that she's had a stable relationship with and that have known her for longer than 3 years, she should run the fuck away.
Right. If a woman, and the thing is especially, I was going to say, especially with women, and a lot of guys say, well, a lot of guys ask questions of us all the time. How do we know if a girl is worth committing to? Blah, blah, blah. We get these same questions. And Carlos hit it right on the head, man. If she has good relationships with her family, that doesn't necessarily mean that she's going to be wife material, but at least it means she might not be terrible with your family. Like, that's what that means. Meghan Markle is on the outs with her family. So just like Carlos says, what on God's green earth makes us think that she's going to get along with the royal family who probably doesn't like her anyway?
Yeah, they probably hate her fucking guts.
Yeah, well, it's like the cluster Bs have this way of creating strife and conflict in any place they enter. I mean, before Anthony met the Medusa, Socrates had a full head of hair, for God's sakes.
That's true. At one time I did.
Yep.
Looks like Meghan said that becoming a mom was on her bucket list. She says, quote, I can't wait to start a family in due time. How many abortions has Meghan Markle have? How many, honestly, how many times has Meghan Markle been pregnant that we don't know about?
No, that was just I don't know. He wasn't the one. There's no bigger implication than he's not the one than the morning after pill or an abortion.
Boom.
Clear.
Well, I need to point out,
he says the same thing, man.
It's a very sexist question, Donovan. This is very private information. If she had 12 abortions, that's none of your business.
No, you're absolutely right. You're absolutely right. If she had listen, sweetheart, whether you've had 10 abortions or 12 abortions, I still love you, even though you're 36.
I think she hit double digits on the abortions, at least 9 or 10.
Is that like
dude, I'm telling you.
Guy's cock? You know, if you ever had to get that shit burned off, I would think so. HPVville.
Oh my God.
Oh, the women want to know that medical history.
Honestly, man, she's probably fucked so many guys. She's probably the type of girl whose vagina would actually melt the condom as you entered it. Whoa, wait, why is the condom melting? What the fuck is going on here?
This is why I love these shows. This is the best parts when Donovan and Carl just rip on stuff.
Well, see, the thing is, man, is listen, dude, I lived in Vegas for 8 years. Dude, I have heard and seen nasty stories of these bitches fuck everybody and anybody. This shit is absolutely true, man.
Yep.
I'm pretty sure her vagina comes with racing
Not everybody.
stripes.
Somebody's got to rent a van.
That's right.
Did you guys
That's right.
did you guys hear the story, or did you guys know that she decided that she was going to only walk herself down the aisle?
Oh my God.
Hey, what was that? Was
Walking
that
herself down the aisle till she gets halfway down the aisle, and then she's gonna meet Harry like halfway, as if it's like some, ritual for the new egalitarian, equalist, feminist marriage or something, like some bullshit like that. But I mean,
Was that what it
mainly
is?
it's because, well, she's got such a bad. You guys were just talking about how she's just got this, a bad relationship with her family. I mean, that's a red flag right there, obviously.
I heard it was because her dad had cancer, so I have no idea if it's true or not.
Yeah, that's what I heard about. I heard that it was.
There was talk that she was going to have like Prince Charles or somebody else walk her down, because that's like was supposed to be the formality of some sort. But she decided that she was going to walk herself at least halfway down the aisle before she met with whoever.
Does she get theme music while she's at it? Or?
Really, what they're saying that that's symbolic of her being like her own woman. She's a strong, independent woman until she meets the prince, Prince Charming, and takes her the rest of the way to the altar. I mean, really think about the symbolism in that.
And this is the thing. This is why women have this false sense of strength. Is all of their strength is based on fucking symbolism. Okay, so you walked halfway down the aisle. That doesn't mean you're strong, chick. Like, oh right. God, get the hell out of here. But female lionesses do all the hunting. Big fucking deal.
Every woman who buys into that strong, independent woman, registered trademark, every woman who does that is going to see that for what it is. I mean, I will guarantee you that probably within the next week, here's a prediction. In the next week, you will see at least 2 articles, maybe 3 articles, talking about how strong she is and how she's a princess for the new generation, or she's a princess for the future's female era. I guarantee you that the femisphere will find some way to, modify whatever it is that they think about the whole ceremony and turn it into this. We couldn't get Hillary to be the first president, but now we have the first feminist princess of all time. I'll guarantee you something's going to come up like that.
Yep.
Strong and independent. It's always those 2 compliments. It's the first things they want, which is like the first thing you think of when you think of a man is a strong man and an independent man. I don't like come up with your own shit. Get your own qualities.
Well, listen, this is projection. Listen, all women want what men have. They say, "Oh, we hate men." Blah 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 blah. Yes, you hate us, but you want to be us. Here. By the way, this is a pro game tip. If you guys want to know,
a couple days a week, I'll give it to you. It's fine.
I mean, look. I'm just saying. I mean, they have to do what they have to do. But a relationship dating hack is this: if you're out on a date with a woman, if you want to know what kind of man she wants, ask her what kind of woman she is. And she will give you a roadmap to the kind of man that she wants, because women attempt to project, at least verbally, the kind of man that they want. So what kind of man are you looking for? Well, I'm looking for a man or what kind of woman are you? Well, I'm strong. I'm independent. I'm decisive. I make decisions very quickly. I'm driven, blah, 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 blah. These are all the traits they want in a man. This Meghan Markle wedding, to change gears here, I think that this is one. I think this could potentially be dangerous in a lot of ways, especially to women. Women the world over, especially in the Western Hemisphere, are looking at Meghan Markle and thinking, "See, it is possible." Okay, right. And the reason they think it's possible is because of things like what I call outlier TV, television and movies. Only you wouldn't watch anything that was normal, right? We only see the outlier, the the exception to the rule. Meghan Markle is the exception to the rule. So they think, okay, well, I can slut around, fuck porn stars, join a sorority, go and, you know, fuck a bunch of guys in Europe and down in Argentina and still meet my Prince Harry or my Prince Charming.
Right.
No. It doesn't work that way. It happens once in a million lifetimes. Meghan Markle got lucky.
Yeah.
Quit watching Outlier TV. Quit watching what the fuck is Grey's Anatomy. Oh God.
Well,
That's still on the air. I thought that was like 10 years
fucking
old.
hell, dude.
what's the first thing they talk about? Like, here's another analogy to that right there. Is you look at an older woman, younger man, celebrity couple. Who do you think of? You think of
Demi Moore, Ashton,
and Ashton Kutcher,
Ashton Kutcher.
right?
Yep.
Where are they now? I can remember back in the day when women would tell me all the time, well, you know, it can work, and you know, you know, you can still be a cougar and live happily ever after. And
they were lying to themselves, Rollo.
I will guarantee you that this couple, Harry and the princess, will be will go the way of Demi and Ashton.
Yes, you want to know why? And you want to know why? It's exactly what Trevor07 says here in the chat. He says Prince Harry could have had a 22-year-old woman with no baggage. What a chump. Guess what, guys? When I was 33 years old, I was as clueless as Prince Harry. Okay?
Oh, yeah.
Prince Harry doesn't, listen, even though he's the fucking prince of whatever, Cambridge or whatever, he doesn't know what his value is. Wait till he's 36, 37, wait till he gets to Meghan's age and figures out, holy shit, I can do better than this. He is going to do better than this.
Yeah.
I'm just picturing that talk. Fuck you, Dad. You can't tell me what to do. I'll marry who I want.
There are fucking
By the way, can I borrow
women with less baggage on Tinder than Meghan Markle.
I swear to God.
And that's just
Well,
Orlando.
Did you guys have you seen the pictures of his ex? Like they're circulating right now. I guess there's like, I don't know if it's tabloid news or whatever. Maybe it's the Daily Mail or something like that. But there's pictures
Yeah, I just
of
saw him.
his blonde ex-girlfriend.
Hold
And
on, I gotta
her,
Google
you
this.
look at her and you look at
Harry
Meg, like she was at the wedding. She got an invite to the. How fucked up is that?
Oh.
She got an invite to the wedding.
Oh, that's
Whoever fucking knows it.
Yeah. She looks better than Harry.
Yeah.
You know what? Hey, but you want to know something? Hold on. Before we dog Prince Harry for this might be a little bit of low-level dread game. Like, you see that fucking hot type blonde I used to fuck? Yeah, if you don't keep your shit together, she's gonna be up under me. So keep your shit.
You are giving him way too much credit.
Oh, Rollo, don't tell me that, man. God damn it.
Way too much.
Prince Harry has to have some game, right? Like, please, Harry, please listen to this show, man.
His brother did all right. I'd say we focus on him. He's the
Yes.
one that got the fucking
Yes.
princess
Yes.
and the nice kids. He's losing his hair and he just owned it.
Who
Didn't
gives
care.
a shit, dude? Prince William fucking nailed it with Kate Middleton. She is the embodiment of what a lady is supposed to be like. She's it. He did it. Good for him. Meghan fucking Markle. Oh my god.
As long as they just keep her out of any accidents inside of a tunnel, we'll be fine then.
Well, you have to keep in mind,
Too soon?
Harry's been playing the game on easy mode since day one. He has a sad mommy story to lure them in with. He's a prince. He's wealthy. He's been jet-setting around Europe. He has that military uniform. So he's basically been playing the game on easy mode. So he's
Yeah, the
kind of the
SS1 and the
guy.
British one.
Yeah, but he's like the guy who's been going to the gym and he's been using fake weights and he thinks he's lifting like 3-4 plates. And then he goes into the gym and someone fucks with his fake plates and he can't get 35 pounds off the ground. So he's essentially a guy who has no street smarts trying to fight with Marlo from The Wire over the corners. It's like Meghan Markle is coming and you see Snoop and that other dude sneaking up behind him, ready to put him in one of those burnt out buildings.
Yeah.
Dude,
I was gonna
she
say,
got him, man.
Still never watched The Wire. I got to get around to it.
Some people are going to be listening to this and go, or watching this and going, wow, this sounds like, tabloid news or something here. I would like to say, like, what is it that you guys think that Harry could have done? The guy is the poster boy for this generation of beta males. I mean, this is what a beta does. This is exactly what his mindset is. It's like, I bet there's 1,000 people watching this right now, or there's gonna be a bunch of people. I've already had like tons of people hit me up on Twitter, criticizing me for criticizing him. I'm not criticizing him. I'm just saying, look, this guy is the embodiment of this generation of beta males. This is what the guy does. And of course, what's the excuse or what's their comeback is, well, if they're happy, then, you know, why does that bother you? You know, it's like, it doesn't bother me. It's just, I'm showing you that he is a model for what a beta male is going to do. And she, of course, is a model for, you know, modern feminism. This fantasy feminism is really what it is. It's fantasy feminism coming to, you know, a culmination in this, you know, royal wedding between the two of them. So it's not so much about, you know, wondering what, you know, are you going to be overcritical, or you're going to end up being like a tabloid news type thing, you know, by even saying anything about this. Well, what do you tell that guy? What do you tell the beta guy? You know, how would we fix a guy like Prince Harry? How do you fix
You know what? Check this out. How do you fix Prince Harry?
Yeah.
With women like Meghan Markle. Okay, listen, listen. This is how we all.
Not joking.
This is how most men find the red pill, man. Dude, some lessons you can be taught. Okay, most lessons you got to learn. Dude, men only digest the red pill when they seek it out, after heartbreak, after frustration, dude, I had my version of Medusa. Like, we all sit here, we make fun of Anthony about Medusa, and you know, he makes it very easy. Listen, we've all had our Medusa, dude. I wasn't, not to get into it, but dude, I was in a relationship with a girl who had an ex-boyfriend who was in prison, right? Like, it was absolutely crazy. Like, we've all had these situations. So how do we fix it, Prince Harry? We don't fix Prince Harry. Unfortunately for him, he's gonna have to learn this the hard way. And lo and behold, he has found the woman who is gonna put him on the right path.
Now, I will say this though. So I understand what you're saying, Donovan, and I agree. However, per Carl's work at blacklabellogic.com, I think that Prince Harry's playing beta game at like the highest level. Kind of like Trump playing the game at the highest level. This guy's playing like beta game at the highest level. And he has,
you don't get to be a bigger provider than that.
Yeah, well, so he has so much wealth and status, so that even if this blows up in his face, you know, exponentially so, he's just going to fall back on being a prince, and he's worth millions of dollars.
Right. Yeah, the estate's not being taken from him.
His family's worth $88 billion or something. Like,
right.
So,
and she's not going to get it.
Yeah, she's not going to get it.
No, she's not getting 1 cent of that.
Guys, sorry to interrupt. I got a tolerant fellow just sent a tweet and attached it to us there of the prince during the wedding, and he's got this like 1,000-yard stare face. I wish I could throw links up on the YouTube things. It's fucking hilarious.
Is it
best I got.
I'll be able to show the screen or something.
Hang on, I had something here real quick. Looks like Meghan Markle got busted for drugs or something.
Oh, what a surprise.
Yeah.
Well, the only thing she's missing is a couple of kids by a couple of different men. Come on.
Dude, I'm telling you.
That's the only thing she's missing to be the full single modern female bingo.
Whoa, was this Prince Harry or Old Dirty Bastard? What the
fuck? Yeah, probably. I'm sorry. No, that was no, I'm sorry. Let's strike the record on that. That was Prince Harry who got busted for drugs. That's okay. Like, listen. Here's the thing, man. Listen. I'm about to go red pill 101. Check this out. Male red flags make men sexually attractive to women. Female red flags make women kind of sexually attractive, but not in a way that makes us want to stay with them. So if a female has a bunch of red flags, we don't want to commit to them. We just want to fuck them. If a man has a red flag, oh, dude, a woman will move heaven and earth to be with that man. Wait, I'm sorry. You've been arrested how many times? How many times have you been convicted of a felony? How many kids do you have with how many different women? What, you dropped out, got a GED? Oh my God, I want to have 80 your babies.
Yep.
That's why you have what is the name of it again, where women like get the hots for incarcerated murderers? There's
Stockholm.
Hyperdasty or something like hyperdasty or something. I can't remember. There's an actual name. There's an actual scientific name for the phenomenon, really, of women, you know, falling in love with with convicted felons.
I'll bet you Nicholas Cruz is up to his fucking eyeballs in pussy as we speak.
Oh yeah.
No,
you mark my words.
Intercepting the censor in his mail. Yeah, without a doubt. Yeah, it's already gone.
You know, the constant, you know, and of course the comeback to that is like, oh, it's just damaged women that do that. Like, no, it is all women that do that to varying degrees. Yes, but you'll notice that there are no teenage fan clubs of young boys trying to get with convicted killers, you know, female killers who are incarcerated.
There's probably
it just doesn't work that way.
Yeah. Well, in case you don't believe me, you can always just reference the last one we did with Donovan here, where we talked about the TradCon red pill women.
Oh, okay, Anthony. Yes. I bet Casey Anthony's got some fans, but it's probably very small. It's minuscule.
She got married. She just got married recently.
Oh my God!
I'm sorry, who?
Yeah,
I missed
but you have to
something.
keep in mind, the
Casey
benefit with
Anthony.
Casey Anthony is, you're never going to have to pay child support.
There you go.
But I'm so
brutal.
Casey Anthony, hold on. Okay, so check this out. Casey Anthony married. So how old is Casey Anthony, by the way?
Merkel's age,
I
I think.
was in Orlando when that whole case was going down. I'm like, watch, some stupid beta is gonna want to marry her. Some dude somewhere, the thirst is gonna overtake him, and he's gonna wife up this girl. And people are like, nah, yep, watch. And here it is, sure enough.
Ay. Oh my God, somebody married
So what,
Casey
you're pulling
Anthony.
it up? All right.
Yeah, I'm pulling it up right now. Casey Anthony Wikipedia. Yeah, I'm looking at the death of Kaylee Anthony. I mean, why would I don't know, Rollo? I mean, I'm at a loss for this. Why would any man marry Casey Anthony, dude? Red pill, blue pill, or otherwise? Why? What's the?
He's gonna do, man?
After OJ got off for murder, why did he go back and steal some baseball cards? Fuck, I don't know.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay.
Well,
all right.
Because the thirst is real. That's why.
Jesus Christ, that's a
thirst
lot
is
of fucking
real.
thirst.
Yeah.
Well, if you want to know that thirst is really real, I went and looked up John and Lorena Bobbitt. For those of you who are not familiar with the case, we're a little bit too young for that. She was somewhat upset that he was less than faithful to her, so she drugged him, cut his penis off, and if I remember correctly, she threw it out of a car window while going 40 down the highway. She's in a 2.5-year long-term relationship.
Sounds like a keeper.
I remember that. Even on The View, they were poking fun at the dude. Dickless fuck.
Whoopi Goldberg actually.
Yeah, then John Wayne Bobbitt, didn't he do a porn movie after that to show everyone, hey, I have a dick and it still works?
John Wayne Bobbitt Uncut. I remember the name.
That's brilliant. I love it. I love it.
Shit like that.
John Wayne Bobbitt Uncut.
Let's get into some questions. We got some audience questions
Stay
here.
away from the porn.
I've gotten posted on the group chat. The first one was a red pill question. It was very simple, kind of very broad. Anyone wants to hit it, go for it. The question from Raised Reborn was, what would constitute value in a red pill context? I'm assuming he means like a dating context specifically
for
too.
a relationship or for sex or what?
Probably just operating the S&P.
Are you talking about value in a woman? Like what would make a woman so valuable that men like us would want to take her off the market?
He didn't specify male or female. I'm assuming on my own solipsism, it's about men, about us, but it could be the other way around. I don't know.
I mean, I think with men, I think male value, I think it's pretty simple. As long as you take care of yourself, you don't have to be rich, but you have to be financially shrewd. You can't be financially irresponsible. You have to know how to handle women, and you got to have backbone. The thing is this, man, the reason why most men get run over by their women, yeah, money's involved. Yeah, okay, maybe he's a little bit out of shape. Maybe his value's not that high. But what it really comes down to is that most men are unafraid to correct bad behavior in their women. If their woman gets out of pocket, like for example, if she embarrasses him in public, most men are not going to check their women in public. Most men are not going to say, hey, cut that shit out. If she burps. If you're on the watching the television and she burps, right? Hey, cut that shit out. That's not feminine. You're a fucking lady. Act like it. Like they don't correct that bad behavior. And like a kid, if you don't correct the bad behavior, your kid grows up to be a mouthy fucking kid. Then they're in juvie, and then they're a lifelong criminal. And I know that's a little bit hyperbolic, but I think that's where men fail the most is they're not afraid to correct bad behavior in their women. They are flat out afraid of women.
Well, like kids too, they'll push boundaries until they find one.
Yes, they will. And women are overgrown children. So this is why they push boundaries.
And the reason they do that, the reason they are afraid to do that is because they have been taught from a very, very early age to defer to the feminine, to defer to mommy, to defer to the teacher, to carry the girl's books home from school, to not beat up on her sister, to not, it's this constant deference to females, and from the point where they are taught like I always say, they're taught like defective girls. You got these boys who are just like we were talking about before. They've been taught to really ape the emotionality and the emotiveness of girls, and in doing so, they don't want to step on toes. Because let's get straight. Most guys are beta. Most dudes, 80%, and I'm being generous, 80% of guys are beta dudes, and they are afraid
it's much
to
higher than
rock
that.
the boat. They are afraid to experiment.
Yeah, they're afraid to rock. The main reason they're afraid to rock, or one of the main reasons, is, oh my god, if I piss my wife off, I'm not going to get any pussy. That's what it comes
No,
down
they
to.
never even make it as far as the consequence. They just say, well, I better not or else, but they don't actually think it through. We've
What is
actually
the
done
else?
this a lot.
They
Yeah,
don't
that's
have
just it. In Married Red Pill, a lot of guys have that same mentality. We're like, all right, well, walk us through it. Walk us through the worst case scenario. And then for the eventual guy that does that, he realizes, like, actually, I can live with that.
How
And then
about
they
that?
kinda-
I never thought of it that way.
Yeah, nobody really
Well-
thinks it through. They just have, it's like the lion tamer. They always have the whip, and you never hit the lion with the whip. You just crack it. And so the lion's always scared of what could happen. And I guess you have to get rid of them once they actually hit them with the whip, because then they realize it doesn't hurt. So they can just eat the fuck out of the lion tamer.
Well, Ryan, because I've gotten to know you,
okay.
I've been
Siegfried and Roy.
checking out the Married Red Pill more and more lately, and the thing is, a lot of the guys on there, okay, so their wife bosses them around, she constantly nags them, she doesn't cook, she doesn't clean, and she doesn't fuck them, and they pay all the bills. How
Yeah,
much worse could a divorce really be?
that's just it. And we even have stories. The guy's getting divorced. They're like, hey, it turns out I'm paying a whole bunch of child support, but my disposable net income per month has gone up.
Right.
So even then, even with like the fear of divorce rape, they realize like, you still kind of end up better.
Right.
So then you start becoming valuable, and you realize you are valuable.
Yeah. I think
Well, it's
that's
actually one of the funnier statistics that people are unaware of, that for the most part, men do better after divorce and women do worse. The reason why you have child support, the reason why you have alimony and all these other penalties is because if you don't transfer resources from men to women after a divorce, the women overwhelmingly end up in poverty, and they even do now with child support and alimony, because once that ends, they end up OPP, old, poor, and powerless. They have absolutely
To clarify,
nothing.
you too, financially better, like emotionally better. That's where we get to that zeroed out stuff that Rollo talks about. So
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I but still, okay. So we've answered one question as far as like what is valuable in a guy. So I would say, like, some sort of masculine dominance, some sort of what I would call mental point of origin, to making yourself your own mental point of origin. I think that is the key to male value, and it always will be. The guy who is making himself his first thought in his thought process, you got to have a guy that is all about himself before he can help, or before he can be, he can really interact with other people in any kind of effective way. And I think I really think we sort of remove that from boys these days. We teach them not to. We teach them to defer to the feminine. So what happens is, when we see a guy who does exactly what you guys have just been talking about being dominant or cracking the whip, but not actually hitting with the whip, but cracking the whip, when we see that generation of guys, they see that as being abusive. They see that as being, even putting your foot down, or to assert any kind of authority. To this generation, it's like they equate it with bullying. They equate it to, and they don't
verbal
wanna,
abuse, emotional abuse.
they don't want to be the abuser. They don't want to be that guy, right?
Dude, I love the tie.
I'll be that fucking guy. I will be that motherfucker. I'll be that guy.
Well,
And
think
so-
about it. Same
and
way they
so-
don't stand up to bullies, like he's saying. They don't stand up to bullies, so now they aren't used to it when they're getting bullied, and they don't know how to stand up.
Yeah, it's not even
Yeah.
authority, boundary setting. Even any boundaries are seen as bullying. Your own personal boundaries. Like, it's fucking crazy.
Yeah.
Listen to this.
So
Here's
what-
a shaming. Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
So I was gonna say, you've established that dominance is, dominance or self-concern, self-importance is one. What else? What else is there? I mean, from that point on, we can talk about, you got to have your finances together. Oh yeah, you got to have your body together. There's a lot of things that create value in men. And we always come back to the most important one, which is dominance and self, making yourself your mental point of origin. But what comes after that? What else is there?
Well, I think one of the more interesting things is, if you look at, I'm not sure if you're familiar with the Duluth Power Wheel.
Yeah.
It's essentially this feminist project of what actually constitutes abuse, and, using coercion and threats, using emotion, intimidation, using emotional abuse, using isolation, minimizing, denying, blaming, using children, using economic abuse, using gender privilege. And, thing is, Some of these, okay, fair. If you tell someone either you shape up or I'm going to beat the shit out of you, fair enough. But a lot of this language is so vague that anything could constitute abuse. For instance, if you tell your wife, we're going broke and you're spending all our money on credit cards, I'm going to take your credit card away. That technically counts as economic abuse.
Right.
I've done that.
It's whatever they're using on men that they're going to accuse of men. I mean, that's a power tool right there, is to accuse the opposite of what you yourself are going to do or you yourself are doing to set the precedent.
A lot of times girls will, and I've been told this a lot, especially by, girlfriends, ex-girlfriends, they say, oh my God, you're controlling and possessive. Now, before I took the red pill, I was like, oh no, I'm not controlling, I'm not possessive. I won't do this and that and the other. But now if somebody calls me controlling or possessive, I'm like, wait, you're just now figuring that out? Like, yes, I'm a controlling and possessive motherfucker. Now, maybe maybe I am, maybe I'm not. Call it whatever you want. But you're not going to, if you want to be with me, you're not going to do this, right? Like, that's how it has to be. Listen, we have a relationship, and listen, and are you threatening me? I'm not threatening you, sweetheart. I'm giving you choices. You can either stop doing what I'm telling you to do, or you don't, or you can't, okay? But there are consequences to your actions. People all the time talk, well, I have freedom of choice. Yes, you have freedom of choice, but that does not give you freedom from consequences. Sweetheart, you're a grown woman. I'm not your father. I'm not going to tell you what to do. I'm not going to hold your gun. I'm not going to hold a gun to your head. But I will tell you this. If you do X, Y is going to happen, or vice versa. There are consequences to your actions, and you got to be willing to stick to your guns. You can't lay down an ultimatum, and girls will love to say this too. Well, I don't like ultimatums. Guess what? Ultimatums are a part of life sometimes. You've got one staring you in the face now, so make a choice, because I got to be somewhere.
All right, I'm gonna play MGTOW's advocate here. There's probably 100 MGTOWs right now saying you can't out alpha the law, you can't out dominate the law. It's still on a woman's side that even if you go and you make those ultimatums, or if you make those threats, that the law is still going to back up the woman no matter what. So how do you answer that?
Yeah, you smile and
tell you not to walk the fuck away. That's the only rule you have anyway. You can walk away.
Yeah,
you can approach, because even if you say that, okay, if the law gets involved, well, half of my fucking job is skirting the law to the point where I have a couple of lawyers on retainer. I mean, unless you actually hit her in front of the cops or do something really fucking stupid, they won't be able to make anything stick. So the law is only threatening if they can make something stick. And if a woman calls the cops on you, that's her final answer, and that's when you get the fuck out of there.
Mm-hmm.
The second she calls the police, you leave that house.
One call. And if I'm being violent, I want you to make the call, but we're done. Just one call. And I've let every partner I've ever had absolutely know that. You call the cops once in our relationship, it'll be the end right then and there.
Yep.
And
walk it back.
I think bringing it back around to what we were talking about is not letting a woman get away with bad behavior, I think, or being unafraid to check your woman. And I think going back to what Ryan says, you want to crack the whip, but obviously you don't want to hit the lion with the whip, because in our case, the whip would absolutely hurt the lion. I guess we were
the lions, and the whip was like the female bullying.
Okay, all right. Well, I guess I got that completely wrong. Shows how smart I am. The point,
man, come on.
The point is, I'm a lion. I am lying. Hear me roar. The point is this: is that in situations of ultimatums, cops won't get involved. She's not thinking about calling the cops until you raise your voice. That's when that's zero barrier. When you're in an argument with a woman and you raise your voice, now she's going to start to weaponize the law. I don't know if you guys keep up with sports, but Reuben Foster, now he's a linebacker for the San Francisco 49ers. Dude, super talented. Honestly, talent-wise, he's probably better than Ray Lewis, right? Like talent-wise. I don't know if you guys are football nerds, but this kid can play. His girlfriend called the cops on him on February 11th, said that he beat her ass, he broke her phone, spit on her, threw their dog at him. And dude, he was arrested, and everybody was like, oh, you got to cut him, you got to trade him, his career is done. Dude, she was on the stand just this last week and said she lied about the whole thing because she wanted to end him. Okay? So I understand I understand a lot of men, I guess, quote, being afraid of women because all a woman has to do is call the cops, especially if you're a man of means or in the NFL or professional athlete, you're guilty until proven innocent in a court of law. But even still, you got to lay down the law with your woman, because if you both know that all she has to do is call the cops and you still say, look, you can do whatever it is you want to do. You either stop this behavior or I'm out. She has to respect that.
Yeah, don't raise your voice. You're not mad about it. It's the way it is.
I'm a voice raiser. That's probably a weakness.
I get quiet. Angrier I get, the quieter I get.
Anthony says I believe that.
Let me have my standard mantra here, guys, for this issue. An ounce, and there's like this is a common saying that everyone knows: an ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure. So, like I did in my own personal life with what ended up being a super crazy chick. I avoided getting the government involved in my life on purpose. So rather than skirting them after they get involved, I avoided getting the government involved in the first place to the extent I could by looking at the laws, looking at the system in place. So I think every guy should do that, and I've advocated that repeatedly. They should absolutely avoid legal marriage at this point. I have no idea why you would do it, other than possibly importing a chick from a country for citizenship purposes to then, be your wife or whatever. Other than that, I have no idea what you'd ever get married to an American woman at this point. Like zero. It does nothing for your life. It brings a lot of risks and zero benefits and zero authority, as Rollo and all of you guys have discussed. So keep the government out of your life in the first place. That way you don't have to deal with them, or at least that you can.
I've got this one. Just really quick. I think it's something that guys need to keep in mind when we're talking about stuff like this, or they're deciding as to whether they want to get married or they don't want to get married, or even get into a long-term relationship for that matter. Yep. It's important to keep in the back of your mind that although not every woman would, any woman can. And if you keep that in the back of your mind, you sort of have, like when I wrote that post called The Pet, it's like a reminder really to say, look, post. once you treat her like a pet, once you have her and you consider her a domesticated animal, you tend to forget that she can go feral. And so remember that it's not that every woman would, it's that any woman can.
Right.
And so keep that in the back of your heads.
Yeah, hell yeah. Excellent.
There's a comment in here that came from a super chatter, Albert Charlo. He says, and listen to this. This is actually quite interesting. He wants to know what our thoughts are on marriage contracts / prenups that need to be renewed every 5 years. Dude, check this out.
Don't work.
My girlfriend and I actually were thinking, we were just sort of spitballing this. Like, what if marriage, and this was a hypothetical, there's so many holes and problems with it, but what if marriage had to be a renewable contract? What if you had to renew a marriage every 6 months? Or every year? How would that change men and women? Would women get fat? Would men get fat? Would women cheat? Would men cheat? Would there be a prenuptial agreement? Would that motivate people to stay married? Would it motivate? I thought it was an interesting discussion that we had. And so, what are your thoughts on marriage contracts and prenups that have to be renewed every 5 years in order to save marriage? Say again.
Well, the guy's obviously worried about getting fucked over, right? So he's passing the buck.
Sure.
Well, the piece of paper I got here says it. You gotta love me. Like, you fuck.
Yeah.
If she's gonna screw you over, it's gonna be a way. If your prenup is solid, there's gonna be something else. You're gonna spend it all before you go to court, or if you're gonna get fucked, there's nothing you can do about it. So just accept that you're gonna be fucked and just act the way you should be acting.
And
I don't know how else to say it.
Prenuptial agreements are worthless, dude. They're regularly thrown. Dude, they're thrown out by probate judges now.
Yeah, burn it to the ground. Give her half the ashes if you really want to play that game. That's the only real power you got.
If you've ever seen that documentary called Divorce Corp,
yes,
there is a section in that documentary that covers prenups. If you watch that section about prenups, you will find that they are absolutely worthless. And that's whenever I hear some guy go, well, what if you got a prenup? Then could you get, like, they're asking me to get permission to go get married. Like, well, what if I did it with a prenup? Like, dude, go watch that whole documentary and then come back to me and say, yeah, I really want to get married. But yeah, prenups are worthless. I see why guys want to protect themselves, but I think you have to also look at what's the concept behind the prenup. Just like you were saying, do you want to have some sort of like renewable contract that comes up, say every 4 or 5 years or whatever, and you decide you're going to stay together, you're not going to stay together, you're going to, you know, dissolve the company basically. From a governmental perspective, that might even make sense. But you got to think about what are the stipulations of the marriage, that you don't cheat, that you don't, you know,
well, yeah,
what are you
the
going to do?
expectations.
Yeah, what are the
That's what a good contract defines. Is that it's not necessarily what the penalties and the split are. It defines what the expectations and responsibilities for each are.
Right.
And if you have that conversation and never sign the goddamn document, you've done more better than if you just sat down and signed a goddamn prenup that says division of material labor. But back to the question, honestly, if you sit down and say you want to have a recurring 5-year, 3-year, whatever, you know, membership plan for marriage, you expect fully to be treated like her cell phone plan. You know, where she's shopping around, you know, before the halfway point and looking at you as a disposable item. That is just a nightmare waiting to happen.
Yep, you're the iPhone 4, and the guy she wants to fuck is the iPhone 13.
Yeah.
Well, let me add this too. I've been for a while now, a strong supporter of private marriage, or specifically even privatizing marriage entirely. Like Senator Rand Paul has advocated and a few others, meaning the total removal of government from marriage in the United States. What's interesting though is if you did that and you still have the government involved in terms of contract negotiation or enforcement, just simple, you know, have an attorney write up a contract in your state and get it, you know, look it over and sign it. If you did that now, based on how marriage is set up, the terms would be insane. Like no one would fucking sign the document. It's like, you know, it's like comedians joke about. You're signing, you know, a certificate or a license in that state that's going to fuck you over the second she wants for whatever reason she wants, based on no-fault divorce laws. And I think almost
that changed the game.
But the terms are.
I'm glad.
Terms are absolutely.
I'm glad that Socrates brought that up for a minute there. As far as like, remember the stipulations in marriage are whatever the two people involved in that marriage say that they are. So like when. People always said, you know, when gay marriage came out, people will go, well, why does that bother you? Why does that have anything to do with you? You know, you're heterosexual, blah, blah, blah. You know, why can't they be happy kind of thing? Trying to make it about like, you know, you're personally attacking them. But really, it's not gay marriage. It's same-sex marriage. And that's the only way that the government really looks at it. So, for instance, I'm a heterosexual man and Ryan is a heterosexual man. And I could go, hey, Ryan, let's go get married, buddy. And we can go get married. And here's the stipulations of our marriage, Ryan. I'm going to go fuck hot chicks on the weekend. And so are you. And we're going to bring you back here and we're going to do whatever we want. But you know what?
Baby.
You know what, Ryan? But you know what, Ryan? I love you like a brother. So I want you on my insurance program. And I want to be able to, like, you know, come to your deathbed when you're dying, you know, so I can, you know, I have all those benefits and stuff too. Because that's what it is. It's same-sex marriage. It's not gay marriage.
That sounds like a hell.
Yeah.
That sounds like a hell of a marriage, man. I don't know if you're joking or not, but if Ryan doesn't work out, dude, I'm available.
Well, that's the thing is like,
it's your own man.
What are the well, think about it. What are the stipulations in a gay marriage? Is it fidelity? Is it for some gay men? It might not be. It might be like, yeah, well, here's our stipulations. We're not loyal to each other, but we're married because we really love each other. But we're gonna go fuck hot guys on
tax
the weekends
benefits
or something like that.
Right.
Yeah, tax benefits, whatever. But it's all about the stipulations. So if you're going to think about marriage in terms of stipulations, why get married at all? If you're just going to have, you could do just what Anthony was saying. You just have a private civil marriage between the two of you where there's no contract there. I mean, that's the way we've been doing marriage for forever, for a very long time. Yeah. And
I'll answer your question.
You know, and why? Why not? You know,
listen, I'll answer your question. It's always girls who ask, well, why not get married if you're going to be together? Why not? I'll tell you why not. Because as far as marriage is concerned in America, women have everything to gain and nothing to lose, while men have nothing to gain and everything to lose. So of course women are going to advocate for marriage. That makes all the sense in the world. Dude, if you're a woman, of course, listen, there are no gag gifts. There are no memes, internet memes of a man dragging a woman down the aisle. No, men don't drag women down the aisle. It's the women who drag the men down the aisle because of the benefits they get.
It's like Judgy Bitch said a couple years ago on her blog. It's like, you know, if you love a woman or whatever, you're in a relationship, why would you hand her a loaded gun, have her pointed at your head and say, hey, don't pull the trigger?
Right.
Why would you do that in the first place? Like, don't give her the fucking...
Yeah, like ask girls who are talking about that. Just ask them what the benefit is for you. Like, tell them, like, what's in it for me? And you listen to the explanation, and I guarantee you, I've done this a couple dozen times. All you hear is her benefits reflected back at you. And it's really, if you can find a girl that can make the case that agrees with you, then go for it. I've just not heard it yet.
Is Why Not says, why do, quote, red pill women get pissed when you tell them why guys don't want to sign the marriage contract? That's exactly what I said. They're trying to shame us into giving them that loaded gun. Get out of here with that. Oh my God, are you not man enough? Or do you not trust me? No, bitch. I don't trust you or any other fucking woman. Fuck out of here.
Yeah, if you wouldn't go in business with her, don't marry her. You know, and the other part
I like that.
You don't want her standing over your deathbed and with,
I love it.
Where end of life period and having the control of agency, whether she pulls a trigger or, you know, medical care or whatever the hell it is, in your conscious absence, that is not the person you want next to you.
I like that. If you don't go into business with her, don't marry her. Absolutely.
Yeah, says I will go with that definition. I like that.
You know, you got the pressure on the relationship. Why won't you commit? I'm like, well, what are you bringing my business?
You both have to have a vested interest in the success of the relationship and or business. It can't be.
I'm not afraid of hiring. I'm not afraid of throwing money at quality employees when they perform. You know, no man is, okay? Particularly when you know you're going to have a growth expense, you know, and you'd be able to actually have the better business. Are you that individual? What are you bringing to my life that's going to make my life a better business?
It's your inner Richard Cooper.
Yeah, oh yeah. And if she can't answer that question straight up, you've got a week's time out to figure it out.
Yeah.
Well, here's my problem with that analogy from Socrates, and that is a business contract is a hell of a lot better than a marriage contract.
Yes,
but let's say, for the sake of argument, that I enter into a business with Socrates, and part of that contract is that he needs to build a house or, you know, lead in the construction of some kind of piece of property. Right. And he doesn't do that. I can then sue him for breach of contract, and he'll have to pay me whatever the court decides he owes me for fucking up on his end. Absolutely. You can't go to the court with your marriage license and be like, she hasn't blown me in 15 years. This is a breach of our marriage contract.
This would have been gone after 15 minutes.
Exactly. 15 minutes. I'd say 15. I mean, 30 seconds tops.
Straight up.
That's kind of my issue here is that they say that it's, you know, it's a contract, but it's not. It's a marriage license. Basically what it is, it's a piece of paper that doesn't actually give you any of the protections or capabilities to sue the other party for breach of contract or give any terms for what has to be fulfilled as part of the contract. Plus, on top of that, if Socrates, just because Socrates is probably the only one here who, well, he came up with a business analogy. Let's say if we went into business here and we have a joint venture together, which is more or less what a relationship is, and I argue that in gendernomics, then he keeps what his assets are and I keep what's mine. And the only thing on the line is what we have mutually invested in the business. In a marriage, that's what a prenup is supposed to do. But then you have this little thing called the commingling of assets, which is that once your money is used on her property, her money on yours, the assets are considered to be commingled, which means they're up for grabs. So, and third, there's the state issue, because you have jurisdiction, you have 50 jurisdictions that all treat law slightly differently.
Right.
And what are you going to do about that? Because if you're in California, you're in a joint property state. So there the bitch gets half and you can get alimony for life. That's not the case in a couple other states. So it's actually better for some guys to actually go to Mexico and get divorced and then have that divorce approved back in the US, because Mexican divorce laws are, funnily enough, less of an ass rape than American divorce laws.
Listen, just to put a bow on what Socrates said, to me, getting married is like going into business with someone who invests nothing into the business, but still gets half the profits, whether or not the business succeeds or fails. This is why. So basically, women look at husbands, they look at potential husbands like, oh, look, there's a business that I can make money off of like an owner, and I don't have to invest anything. And if the business fails, I still get paid. Where do I sign? That's what this is. That's a very good analogy.
Conversation with my boss's wife, who owns the firm, and they, you know, she was arguing the feminine nature of marriage and relationships and everything else. And I said, you know, okay, if you really feel that way, then based on my tenureship with your husband's business, I could leave now, and I should get damn near, because I've been there 10 years, lifelong payment, call it marriage, alimony for the rest of my life, or until I find new employment at my will. Okay. But, and then she's kind of like backtracking. Well, that's completely different. And I'm like, yeah, you bet your ass it is, but the rationality is you would never hire an employee that would expect the same benefits and escalation for life, as you would have within a 10-year mark on most civil marriages. It's absolutely outrageous.
We got a question in here about common law marriage. He says, what about places like where Ryan Stone lives and he got married because of a certain amount of years? Do you have to move out for a year or so every so often? How does that work, Ryan? I think it's called common law marriage or something like that.
Common law marriage. It's if you cohabitate for longer than 2 years, and this is why marriage isn't really a contract. It's just like you're given the legal status of married. So as far as if you want to skirt around it, you just gotta, I guess you'd have to not live together or make sure you don't live together for 2 straight years.
Read the rules.
I don't know, to be honest, my vetting method was more so just if she never had any red flags, just keep sticking around, and she just never had them. So that kind of worked out for me.
That's rare,
had she had a red flag, it would have probably been before the 2-year mark and I'd have been gone anyway. So
Ryan, do you want to hit that question before you go? I have to go.
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah, so I got a jet in a bit, but Donis Agudblom asked me to ask you, Rollo, what you teach your daughter in relation to men and the red pill.
Oh, yes, sir. Here we go.
I don't think you can read while driving. That's actually very safe.
How considerate.
Well, I would love to tell you right now, but I'm in the middle of a rainstorm here, so I think I'm probably going to jet right now. But we'll pick up on this later.
Okay.
Right.
Ultimate cliffhanger.
Yeah, we can barely. We just safely hear the rain.
All right, but I gotta take off too. It's getting late over here, so thank you guys for having me, and enjoy the rest of the cast.
Okay, Ryan, thanks for having us. I think Rollo's maybe still in, maybe not.
It looks like his window is frozen, so
he's probably gonna drop. Yeah, if he didn't cut out yet. Yeah, we got a few more questions actually. We should go over it, I think.
Let's do it. Let's do it.
Into it. So this will be open to anyone. Part of it's directed to me though. So Henry Frenchway has been bitching about the ticket price here for a good half hour on and off, different questions. Okay. I might be overcharacterizing that, but that's how I'm interpreting it slightly. So he asked, why do you charge $1,000 for a 21 convention? How many guys will pay that? We don't charge $1,000.
Actually, it's much more than that.
It's a lot more than that. That's right. Yeah. It's $17.99 this year. That's a slight price bump from the former price from 2014 to 2016 or 17 of $14.99. So this year the full price is $17.99, $1,800, but the early bird is $1,000, which is what he's pointing to. The average price will actually be above that. It'll probably be this year, if I had to estimate, maybe $1,300, something like that. Somewhere between $1,000 and $1,800, the final price. And at the end of the year, we'll figure out what the average price is. Last year at the 2017 convention, including the speakers and everyone, we had over 120 people. About 100 of those were like paid attendees, regular. And this year it looks like we're having more. The current speaking lineup and sales, which are stronger than ever, even just putting them out recently this month, I think we're gonna have at least 150, 175, and maybe up to 200 or more, depending on who signs on, speakers and stuff like that. Thus far though, the lineup is, like you guys are talking about, it's fucking epic. And I still have even more on the way, such as Hypnotica coming back and Robert Glover, the author of No More Mr. Nice Guy. One of the most recommended books in the Red Pill. So I don't know if you want to hit on that too, Donovan. Just people being, bitching about price, something like that.
Yeah. It's funny. Listen, man. I understand. I certainly understand the concern, but I think the reason why there are several reasons, and please correct me if I'm wrong here, Anthony. But reason number one, as far as I'm concerned, is to keep the trolls out. Right. Yeah. If we made this thing free to the public, then anybody could just walk in and troll us, and then listen. There could be some potential, security issues, et cetera, et cetera.
That's right.
Even if we set the price at $50, right, $100, $200, there are a lot of people out there that would pay $200 to come in and blow up this particular event. By setting the price where it is, that keeps out the trolls. And that lets us know that these men are serious about being here. You're not going to pay this amount of money if you don't value the information that we have. That's the first reason. The second reason is the fucking lineup. Dude, this is literally the Red Pill All-Star game. You're never going to find this amount of Red Pill aware men at the top of their chosen profession in one place at one time. And it's just like Sharp Assist said, listen, what would you pay to improve your life? Like a lot of guys say, hey, if I knew then what I know now. Listen, we can't turn back the clock, but this is what you should have known then. How much, honestly, how much would you pay to finally just wake up? How much would you pay to improve your life? I don't think you can put a price on that. So yeah, listen, is $1,000 a lot of money? You're goddamn right it is. But as far as I'm concerned, it better be worth it if you're going to pay it.
Yeah. Yeah, we've never had I mean, the number of people, I don't even think it would fit on, it's less than one hand. People bitching about the price after they attend, it doesn't happen. In fact, people pay $1,000 or more to attend, and they come back and they buy another ticket. They even buy tickets before they leave.
Yeah.
Well, and I'm not, listen, I'm not sitting here saying that you shouldn't scoff at the price, because $1,000, dude, I don't care if you're a millionaire. $1,000 is a lot of money. It is. But there you go. It's an investment. And that's why the price is where it's at. It has to be this way for a number of reasons. The first of which, like I said, is to keep out the trolls. But the second thing is the information that you're going to get. It's going to be 4 days, I think a little over 21 hours of live. This is in person. You get to meet us in person. Then there's the heroes dinner. Then we get to go and wreck Socrates' house later on at the after party. I mean, it's all inclusive.
So Donovan, it is all inclusive, and I actually thank you for bringing that up, because the ticket comes with basically everything you can get, almost.
Yep.
But this will be your first year attending, Donovan, and you're going to find out firsthand that the information is actually, it's important. It's like the primary reason, the excuse, as Sock calls it, we used to get together. But at the end of the day, it's the other elements that people pay for. It's the elements that they love the most. It's their favorite part, is meeting Socrates or Donovan or Rollo, Tomasi or Ryan. You hang out with these guys in the hallway, in the conference room, at dinner, at coffee. In the morning, you get coffee or something. Like, people love, you guys. They watch you guys on YouTube. They read your books, your blogs and stuff. I mean, the opportunity to meet a speaker like that is fucking astounding.
Oh my God. Listen, and I'm looking forward to it too. Like it's funny. This is the first time I've ever seen and talked to Socrates. Like, I've heard about this guy. And the first time I saw him on camera, I was like, oh shit, it's Socrates. I'll tell you another story. The very first time I mentioned Illimitable Man's one of his articles, Dark Triad, in one of my Return of Kings posts, and he sent me a message on Twitter. He was like, "Hey, noticed you linked my website." I was like, "Holy shit, Illimitable Man!" Blah 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 blah. Like, you guys are my, and I feel privileged and honored to be a part of the community. But you guys are my heroes. And another element of this is, in our everyday lives, you don't get to be around like-minded men. Okay, dude, I can't, and I have a pretty good arm. I can't throw a ball 200 yards and hit a man within my 200-mile or yard vicinity that has red pill awareness. You're going to be surrounded by like-minded men. You're going to hear bitches ain't shit. You're not going to have to look around to see if anybody calls HR. We can talk openly and candidly about the true nature of women, what it really takes to be a man. That's invaluable, man. To be able to talk to like-minded men and be around them for 4 days, again, you can't, and I know it sounds cliche, you cannot put a price on that. You can't do it.
Very, very safe space for men. Very safe space. Like, very fake news. Very safe space.
Yes. Oh, we got a woman alert in here. Talia, I'll take care of it. Go ahead. You can.
Yeah, we have a few other questions. Someone asked me if we have armed guards. We do. I carry a gun myself. Some of the speakers do as well, and attendees. I encourage everyone to carry a firearm at the events you can lawfully carry. You are more than welcome to do that. I encourage you to do it. I would actually request that you do it if you have the ability to do that with the CCW, concealed weapons permit. We hire armed guards as well, Class G in the state of Florida. So we have that. We're on top of that. We're going to get even more this year because I think we're going to have more attendees. So we take privacy and security of the event really seriously, up to the point of armed guards. As of yet, that has never been an issue, and we've never had a serious issue at the event. But I'm going to keep doing that and hope that we never need them. But if we do, that's how we have them. Hope for the best, plan for the worst.
There you go. That's exactly right.
Yep. I'm actually going to get probably body armor this year too for the speakers. If you guys want to wear it, it'll be optional.
Yeah, I mean,
I love it.
$100 price or $1,000 price tag. And in real honesty, it is a significant amount of money. I mean, it really is, and particularly for the guys who are actually, dishing it out. As an architect, I'm making a little bit more, and consequently, that has a different value system to me. But it's still $1,000. Yeah. But the thing is that what I like about it as a speaker is a couple of things. One, we know it is a barrier to entry. We also know that. We also know very factually that the people who purchase a ticket and spend $1,000 up front early, in many cases not knowing where the event's going to be at or precisely the day in advance, they cry once And how many things have you spent $1,000 on that you can probably guarantee that you'll only cry once at the point of sale in which you've actually made the transaction? And that's for people who have never come and have no exposure to it. Yeah. I've never seen a returning attendee ever mention price the second time around. They know the value, they understand it, that the convention and the speeches, which you could watch for free on YouTube, okay, is a delivery system for bringing them and the speakers together and having that interaction. I believe it in so much that I actually invite everybody over to my house to sit down and say, this is how I live, this is my household, and you guys have put yourselves out there, both physically, monetarily, emotionally, psychologically, and how as a speaker can I return that gesture in kind and meet you in kind, peer to peer? And there's no better way than to say, this is my house and home, and please come, let's sit and talk, have conversations, and make it an event. It's not just going down and saying you're spending $50 per speaker, or how does that translate to a community college?
Well, to clarify, you're getting
too, relationships of mind.
You invite not only the speakers and the staff and the volunteers to your house, but all the attendees as well.
Absolutely. Yeah, the attendees.
Wow. Oh, that's going to be cool.
Oh, no. There were 65 people at one point in the house at one time. And that wasn't the max. That was like 65 in the house at one time when we did a body count, just to say how many people are actually physically in the house.
Socrates with the humble brag there says, yes, there were 65 people. Listen, Socrates lives in a mansion. It's palatial. We got it.
Architected.
The house was designed for this sort of entertaining, not to that magnitude. And to be quite honest, I was really kind of nervous about it. One, you're inviting all these people in. Two, can you accommodate everybody? And I just said, if we can't get them in the house, we'll have them out in the hallways. We'll have them out in the yard, the driveway, backyard, everything else. In many cases, there were little enclaves of conversations throughout the evening that absolutely did occur. So, but yeah, it was fantastic. It was really to the point that my partner actually, who was really, really nervous about it, is actually looking forward to hosting it again this year.
Oh, good. I mean, like I said, I'm looking forward, like I said, to meeting the guys, and the thing is I think what a lot of guys that read us and watch us and this and that and the other, I think, and it's not like this is in a literal sense, but I think that they probably never think that we continue to educate ourselves. Guys, I still read Return of Kings. I write for Return of Kings. I still read it every day. I still read Illimitable Man. I still read The Rational Male. I still watch, listen, even though I'm a red pill guy and all this stuff, guys, it is a constant learning process. So when I'm not speaking, like after I'm done, I'm not just gonna goof off. I'm gonna sit down and watch what these guys have to say, because I might learn something too. It is an educational experience for all.
That's what 90% of speakers do too. Like Rollo did that really consistently last year. Rollo was there a lot. Ryan was there like a lot. And by a lot, I mean they saw 80 to 90% of the talks, because they're in the audience like everyone else. They're taking notes. Rollo's taking notes on Joe Navarro, on Jack Donovan. So people that he looks up to in a sense, but also his peers like you. To take notes from you and Ryan and other guys.
We got a question here from Miami J. So we talked about armed guards. Are we getting strippers? He asked. And I would suggest that we make the strippers the armed guards. How about that?
Not a bad idea. Yeah, if they.
It's hard to have a concealed carry in a thong bikini.
Still carrying the bra.
Oh my God.
Yeah, as of yet, we have not had strippers at the event. I've been to other events with strippers at them like that. And
I've seen them.
I've had enough escorts and hookers and porn stars in my life for a fucking lifetime. Like I'm totally.
Yeah, guys are not coming here for the TNA show.
No, and by the way, strippers are overrated.
And do they hit downtown? And
let me say this. I like to separate my personal life and my professional life. And I've had enough in my personal life where I don't need any more in the professional life. We'll keep them in the personal life.
There you go.
In the bedroom where they belong. So
I would just make the argument that $1,000 is a lot cheaper than alimony, child support, and a divorce.
Woo! Bingo! There it is.
I should mention too, actually. So not only that argument, what Carl just mentioned, but also it's not $1,000 even if you buy the early bird ticket. So that's the cheapest price you can get, $9.99. You can get it for just under $1,000. Great, but you also probably going to have to fly and get a hotel and Uber and food. Yep. So most guys in just America, we have other guys come from Canada, Australia, Europe, South America, but even just in America, domestic flight and hotel and all this shit, it's going to cost you another $1,000.
Yeah.
So it's really $2,000. And that's one of the reasons we charge a significant ticket price. Because even if I charge, a third of that, $330 or something, you're still going to drop into $1,000 on flight, hotel, and Uber and all other bullshit. Never mind if you're buying cigars, you're getting drunk with the speakers and shit. You're like, hey, Rollo, let me buy everybody a fuck around. And guys do that.
Find the guy with the MX, man.
Exactly. Yeah.
We'll use them for beta bucks. Also, I think you had and correct me if I'm wrong here, Anthony, you had a discount for fathers who bring their sons. Is that right?
That's right.
Yeah,
if
man.
you're a father and you bring a son or multiple sons, you can get your son's ticket within 30 days for half of your price. So if you bought the early bird now, your price is $9.99. So your son gets in for half that, $500. You just have to buy it within 30 days, and we have to have tickets left, which at this point we do. Later on, we might not, so you got to be on it. But 100%, I support fathers and sons. Socrates will bring some himself.
Yep.
We'll see who else does. But occasionally we have attendees do that. They bring their sons. And we've had that, in the past here and there at the events. Like I think we had one last year. We had one in Australia as well, and I think another time too. But I want a lot more of that. And on Twitter, I've been talking to a lot of fathers like that who I think are going to do that this year. In fact, we already have a ticket sold like that. When I set the rule up a couple months ago, I did it because a father bought a ticket and he's like, hey, I want to bring my son. And I'm like, all right, let's fucking do it.
You think of it like this. Guys. Okay, $1,000, that's a lot of money. There's no getting around that. But how much would you pay to bring your 13, 14, 15-year-old son to the 21 convention? How much would you pay to spare him the turmoil and the heartache and the pain that you had to suffer that brought you to the 21 convention?
Yep. Someone asked about nephews. I'm not opposed to it. I haven't given it too much thought. But if you email me, I can talk to you about it.
All right.
This is people abusing the system. Bringing, just some random 19-year-old who hit them up on Twitter or something.
Yeah, like me bringing in some white guy. Yeah, this is my son.
Yeah, like that's really rare. That kind of shit.
Second cousin on my mother's father's cousin's side.
But I'm not opposed to it. Like I want as many young guys there as we can. We have a specific event for that, the Under 21 convention. We're not doing it this year.
Oh, okay.
But as a father, being able to bring a son to an event and have a conversation or a dialogue based on what's going on around you, rather than you trying to be the authority giving the talk, is amazing. I know when I brought the boys in, it wasn't so much me presenting. As a matter of fact, I don't think they even saw my presentation, but they saw everybody else's, and it started a dialogue, and it was really interesting seeing them actually apply that in their own lives and then supporting them in doing so.
Yep.
Yeah, and that was fascinating. That was really fascinating.
Cool. I think that's most of the questions here in the chat we had, unless I missed any.
No, I'm
scaling hours of speeches. Per speaker, it's about an hour, so anywhere from 20 to 25 at the event. Yep. But like I've talked about, the speeches are what you guys watch on YouTube, so those are important to you. And I think a lot of people who buy tickets for the first time are like, okay, I want to see the speeches live and see the speakers live. That's cool, but in the end, you're not even going to care. What you're going to care about is shaking hands with Sock or Ryan Stone or Donovan or Rollo Tomasi, and you buy them a beer, or you buy them coffee, or you talk to them for 5 minutes in the hallway or 10 minutes, and you ask them questions face to face, which is way different than even YouTube, where this is really cool. These are live questions, but they're not face to face. And when you have face to face interactions with these guys,
there's a difference, man.
Yeah, it's life changing.
Yeah, it really is. I don't do this professionally. That's probably going to change when I release my book. But up until this point, anytime I had somebody at the 21 convention want to sit, talk, engage each other, I did so. Never charged, never did any of that, and I was proud of that. From the standpoint that these are guys who are committing very much like I did 10 years ago or even beyond, and being able to provide back to a greater community of men. And so anytime I have this, it really is an interaction. It's not like any other symposium in which you have people come up, they present, they leave, you never see them, or they arrive in the back door and they do their shtick and they leave. This isn't like a concert. This isn't like a presentation where you just witness the person talking, which is cool, but it's not the same when all of a sudden they come off the stage and sit right next to you, or they're amongst others and fielding questions, having meals, discussing, and having access to the speakers over several days. And it's really, really an amazing time period.
Honestly, most guys don't even want to leave. At the end of the event, guys are like almost in tears. Like, I don't want to fucking leave. I'm like, sorry, man.
I gotta go back to work because HR wants to see me in the office.
Yep.
Well, and the other thing I also hear from them too is that they want the experience to continue. And I think that's something that I know Anthony and I have talked briefly about, of setting something up that it's not just that you go to a event, but somehow it transcends that and you go forward. Yes. Now, I've given a small talk on, hey, here's what you need to do. Definitely get together. They have Facebook groups, and they start their own masterminds. They need to do that. But I think to have something where you actually transfer it into another realm where it's a dedicated element, and I would love the idea of go to the first convention, do that, spend a year transforming your life, in an organized manner with other people while doing so, and then come to the second to actually book in a year's worth of experience. And that is a level of commitment. I think it would be really fascinating to observe, film, and showcase of, the interviews at the initially, where are you at, who are you, what are you doing, what are you expecting, and a year later saying, what has been that process and journey like for you, where are you at now, what's going on. And I think it would be, just an amazing kind of discovery of people who are actually doing that and committing to that sort of year-long change to implement in their life. And I think it takes a year to really work at something before you really see significant change.
Yeah, rather than backslide like Carl's talked about, which happens a lot.
You certainly don't want to do that. And I'll tell you this too. Is not only do you pay to come to the 21 convention, the knowledge just doesn't stop after 4 days. You can use that for the rest of your life. So now you have points of reference. You know what books to read, what websites to go to. Now you've mingled with other men there. You exchange phone numbers, text messages. Maybe men at the 21 convention. Hey, wait a minute. I live in XYZ town too. Let's get a few guys together and meet up every Tuesday night. Like that's the kind of stuff that's the kind of impact that it can have on your life.
Oh yeah. I've actually met a couple guys at the event that lost their virginity. One, I remember one in particular in 2010 or 2011. I was like the first guy at the conference room, like I am, every day, being at the event. And it was like 6:30 in the morning. And he like runs up to me in the hallway. He's like, dream. And I'm like, I have the coffee. I'm like fucking half out of it. I'm like, oh, what's up, dude? He's like, I lost my fucking virginity last night. I'm like, that's fantastic, man. Like, there you go. Like, totally.
My dick still smells like your pussy. I had to take a shower. Smell. Take a smell. All right, I got you. I believe you. I went back door. Smell. Okay, all right. You're good.
Long road ahead of him, but
yeah. Oh God, dude, listen, losing your virginity, that's the easy part, man. Oh my God, if only he knew.
It's a big hurdle though. But I mean, he was in his early 20s. He's probably like 21, 22 at the time. Yeah. So it was a big deal for him.
And of course, then all the guys just like, hey, that's fantastic. Right, turn them right around and you're like, let's go back right at it again.
Yep. Yeah. Oh, he definitely went out again. Yeah. I don't know what happened, but
I just got an interesting comment here. Dennis Hogblum says, I want a 21 convention here in Sweden. Every once in a while, I'll see in my chat, hey, is the 21 convention always going to be in Orlando? Is it going to change locations? Anthony, you're the guy in charge of that. What are your thoughts on, different, locations and venues?
We already did a convention in Sweden.
Solid. Okay.
Been there, done that, motherfucker. Yep. That was the one we did in Europe, actually, the first international one.
Okay.
We're not going back there anytime soon. I'm pretty sure it's just a whole.
They'll check us out.
Different. Yeah. What?
Yeah, dude. Trevor just said it. Sweden, the most feminist country in the world. Yeah, dude, we'd never do one in Britain, Australia.
Yeah. Oh yeah, we did Australia too.
Yeah, Australia.
Yep, we did
London as well.
I've been London. We did London twice, Sweden once, Australia once, Texas once, and Florida. We've done like eight times or something like that, 9 times.
Listen, we got to keep it in the sunny weather. Keep it in the sunny weather. Listen, if you want to really get fun with it, maybe you do a 21 convention in Vegas. I'm just saying.
I was thinking about it for 2019, but I'll probably end up moving it somewhere else in America, doing like a 1-year thing like that. Vegas, not
too much trouble in Vegas, man. Way too much.
I'm thinking Denver or Salt Lake City. The two options.
There you go.
Yeah, something over there or in that area. Yeah, and then Sweden and Australia would be impossible to do again. I really don't think I'd be allowed in the country.
Yeah, you would be barred.
It's there for your passport and customs, Anthony.
You must cancel the event.
I wanted to do Sydney, Australia, because we did Melbourne, Australia last time we were there in 2012.
Hey, check this out. How about Lake Tahoe? Man, holy shit, that's right in Rollo's backyard, man.
Yeah, as long as I can carry a gun, then we can go. So
Nevada, that's either whichever side you're on, California or Nevada. Do it on the Nevada side.
Exactly.
Race Reborn says, I'm not getting shot in Vegas. Yeah, you and everybody else.
Yeah. Cool. So anyway, guys, if you need tickets, I think most of you are going to need tickets, given there's a couple hundred of you watching. Tickets are at the21convention.org. That's the21convention.org. Link is in the video description. It should be the top link in the video or underneath this video. You can get tickets there. They are currently on sale, and they will be on sale until they sell out over the summer. However, they're on early bird sale until May 31st at midnight, and that way they're $800 off, so $9.99.
12 days, man.
You have to buy your ticket.
Anthony, personally, just not to be a dick here, but I think you're overlooking the long-term benefits being banned from Great Britain, Australia, and Sweden.
Oh, yeah.
The amount of pussy that would neck you if you put that on your Tinder profile.
Maybe I should. I mean, YouTube's #1, or maybe soon #1 bad boy.
Listen, check this out. This is game gold right here, right? So let's say I'm Anthony Dream Johnson and I'm swiping right on Tinder like a motherfucker. I got fake titty broads all over the place. And so the girl calls you up. You guys are texting back and forth. Why have you been banned in Poland and Sweden and Australia? 2 words, gentlemen. Long story. I swear to God, her pussy will get wetter than the Niagara Falls, because now there's all sorts of imagination thing going. Oh my God, what's that scar on your hand? Long story. Why does your eye do that? Long story.
I met a girl last night, and out of my 350 matches, not to humble brag too much, and I actually told her off the bat, like, I want to come in your face, make you my girlfriend. And then she's like, what do you do for work? I'm like, well, mostly I teach millions of men how to manipulate women into bed. And that was the theme, and this totally worked out. So it's fantastic. It was a really good time. But you can, I mean, if you're red pill aware and you have the frame, you can say almost anything.
Of course.
And you're right. I mean, saying this kind of shit with a strong frame and keeping a straight face, or telling them it's a long story, like
that is a panty dropper. Yeah, like right. I'm not even allowed in Mexico. Oh my God, why? Long story.
I get banned from Tinder as well, of course, though, on Bumble. Bumble actually banned me on Twitter.
How do you get banned from Bumble?
They tracked me down. I was surprised. I was impressed. They got a team going there.
Getting too much pussy on Bumble. They said, oh, he's got to go.
Well, I'm like Donovan Sharp, except on Bumble and Tinder. I just get banned from all these platforms.
There you go. There it is. Hey, listen, all they're doing is putting money in my pocket, man. Like, the more places I get banned, the more scarce my content becomes. Supply and demand, bitches.
Yep. For you guys internationally, like, I do have future events in mind in Eastern Europe. So Poland, Romania, places like that. Western Europe's probably not going to happen. You guys have some serious shit going on in that part of the world. And I honestly don't think I'll get in a lot of countries. Like, we already did 2 events in the UK. I don't think we can go back. If I try to go back, I'll probably end up like Roosh and get banned, or get stuck at the fucking airport and have to fly back, which would wreck the whole event and risk the whole business. Events are a major investment for us. We rack up ticket sales, tens of thousands of dollars, hundreds of thousands of dollars, and we spend it on the events. And if I or half a dozen speakers get stuck at the airport, like Rollo, they tell him to fuck off because he's bringing hate speech or whatever the fuck, that fucks up the whole business. It could crash the company. So I can't risk that. And that's why we're not going to do them there again. But in the future, I think Poland or Romania or some country like that will probably work out. And that'll be 2019, 2020.
I hear land area is really cheap right now.
Yeah. Maybe we'll just buy up there and see what's going on.
A couple acres.
Oh my God.
Back 40.
Yep. With that said, we probably start wrapping up. It's been about 2 hours now. Apparently I'm supposed to shave my head, according to Danny here in the live stream. Hell no, my head's awesome.
It'll happen.
Actually, I got my genes tested, and I have really durable hair. Like, it's never going to go away. My uncle is still super hairy. Like, he's like a gorilla. Silverback.
I got more hair on my face than anywhere else in my body.
Nice.
Women love it.
With that said, someone asked about an Asian country like Singapore. Maybe. I've given a little bit of thought to Asian countries, but particularly Japan. Personal favorite, but I don't know if that's going to happen. It's not a main priority. The language barrier is big, stuff like that. Plus, it's really fucking far. So, cool. Green shirt. They won't let you in with your huge penis. Apparently, what the fuck?
You do advertise your cock size when we go out.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, he has a tag on it that says, see me about my 9 inches.
Yeah. 8, but whatever. All right, I'm going to wrap up, guys. Any last words before we close out? Appreciate everybody watching.
All right, man. Yeah, thanks for having me on. Like I said, you guys can't find my content anywhere else but donovansharp.com. That's cool. Where my live stream is. That's where my live stream is. That's where all of my content, all of it, is on donovansharp.com. I mean, if I come on here with the Red Man Group, or sometime, I'm actually doing a Patreon show with Richard Cooper later on this week. But yeah, donovansharp.com is the only platform where you can get my content. So yeah, be sure to visit, man.
Yeah, everyone visit his site, check it out, subscribe on Patreon to him. You have a Patreon as well, Donovan. You'll find links to both his website and Patreon account in the description of this video. Just right underneath it, click show more, it'll pull it down. Same for Rollo, Ryan, and Carl. You'll find the relevant websites, Twitter handles, stuff like that. Carl, you still there?
Yes, I am. I just thought you guys were doing such an awesome sales pitch. I figured I'll just step back and resist the urge to make any sarcastic remarks.
Those are the best parts, though. That's like one of my favorite parts of the show, man.
Absolutely. Like the over-under on Meghan Markle's notch count.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm still waiting on the sex tape count, though, because that one's going to be interesting. I mean, the only thing, I have some questions for the bookies that are doing like the over-under on that sex tape. Can we get odds on like it's only with one other person, it's with two other people?
Ooh, there we go.
Going.
There we go.
I have a feeling there's going to be more pipe in that. Well, the girl has had more pipe, has been on more pipe than NPT threading.
Well, if passes prologue, Diana had 2 before she ran into a wall.
Oh my God.
Yeah, well, yeah. Well, again, listen, listen. Princess Di.
Now, I'd like to see the over-under on that. We know the baseline's 2. Are they getting
nice-
more or less strict on that?
Nice YouTube button.
Oh my God.
Totally legit, totally official YouTube partner, 100% legit. All right, we're gonna roll out, guys. I'll leave it private. We can stay on. We're gonna end the live stream. Thank you guys for watching another episode of the Red Man Group, episode 13. Tune in next week. It should be on Richard Cooper's channel at Entrepreneurs in Cars. Just go to youtube.com, type Entrepreneurs in Cars. Probably at about 1 p.m. Eastern on his channel. Appreciate you guys watching. Appreciate Carl joining in live, Donovan live, and of course, Sock. Much appreciated. First time. Hell yeah.
First time.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, good to meet you, Sock.
Yeah, likewise. I'm looking forward to seeing you at the convention.
Yeah, see you down in Florida, brother.
Yep.